Welcome, everyone, to the Extra Player podcast. Thank you so much, as always, for joining us. Today, we're going to be talking about GTA 6's massive pre-orders and the $80 price defense. And we've got some big industry moves, new updates, including Gears of War and Stalker 2, and the Zelda movie casting, as well as much more. I'm joined today by, as always, Matt Ghosty. How are you today, bro?
What's up, everybody? Excited to talk about Halo, some God of War Ragnarok, Gamescom. I feel like a lot has happened since we last recorded because it's been a couple weeks.
It's been too long, and it always feels like too long, but a weekly podcast might be a bit too much. And as Fume is absent, I want to give a big shout out to Fume, our third usual host. He had a son recently, so happy birthday to little baby Fume. I'm sure he'll be happy to talk about that much more when he does return to the podcast. But we have Cal just below me.
Hello.
I'm not sure how he's appearing on your screen. How are you feeling today? How are you doing? And thank you so
All
much
right,
for joining.
I'll try and live up to the hype.
All right, let's get straight into things, and we'll talk about Grand Theft Auto 6 is getting an extended look. I'm sure everybody and their mum is aware of this. It will be exclusive to Netflix, premieres on August 27th, save the date, and it will be available on YouTube and Rockstar's website 6 hours after it shows on Netflix. So at least we have that for anybody that doesn't want to pay for the subscription. I've already got Netflix, so I'll be on it. There's been some fan pushback, and Strauss Zenlik made some comments that we'll be getting into. First of all, Cal, how are you feeling about GTA 6 and the extended look? Will you be tuning in on Netflix? What are your plans? Are you even interested in GTA 6?
See, this is the hard bit because I've never been interested in it. I've been interested in like this is a game that it's like it's an event game to me. It's kind of like, when you watch like the Avengers films where it's like this is a game that this is something you have to go and just say that you were part of seeing it or playing it. Yeah. And that's how it always was to me. But recently, I've been going through all the games for doing a review series for Life as a Game. And I've now realized just how good these games are. And so now, like, the more I'm playing it, the more I'm incredibly excited for GTA 6. I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it now. There are things that like pull me off a little bit that I'm sure we'll probably end up speaking about. But like, I've started to turn around on the game, and with as of the Netflix thing, it's an interesting way to reveal a game. But I'll probably try and tune in. I've not got Netflix, but I'll probably find a way of tuning into it and to see what I'm looking forward to seeing what they finally got to show off, because I'm assuming this will be like an actual gameplay look.
That's what I'm hoping for. It sounds like they're building up a lot to this. I do like your kind of redemption arc with the whole thing at the beginning there, where you started off not interested but realized. But that's the funny thing about stuff that is seen as like what was the term you used? Something that everybody has to get into, like an event game or
like,
an event.
Yeah, like an event kind of thing. Everyone has to play this kind of thing.
Because I had the similar kind of thing with Game of Thrones. Like, I was like, everybody just watches it because it's Game of Thrones. Like, I didn't know it was going to be that good. And then when I watched the first season, I think me and my girlfriend caught up. It was quite late. But we had that same kind of reckoning where it's like, oh, it's this popular because it is that good. Like, and I think that the Avengers movies were like that, but then they got so bad that the event of it became not as big. Like the Avengers movies, like Civil War up to like Endgame, were actually really decent and created that whole thing. And then everything that followed, including all the spin-off shows and everything, kind of dwindled it all down. So I like that, though. I like that most of the time, if people are interested in it, there is a reason, even if it just seems like you're going with the audience or the crowd. Matt, how are you feeling about GTA 6 and this extended look on Netflix? Are you planning to watch it 6 hours before on a Netflix subscription?
I'm not going to go out of my way to grab Netflix and watch it, but I'm assuming it's going to get leaked like instantly.
Probably.
Well, I don't know if we could call it a leak, but like someone's going to post stuff or if they're doing like co-streams on Twitch. I know people have talked about that. Like Netflix might have like a couple of creators who are specifically picked to do like co-streams for it. I might watch it through there. I did not expect like a Vidoc sort of thing for GTA 6. And I'm curious how they do this, because I feel like there's definitely a world where it feels like a YouTube video on Netflix, but there's also a world where it's like, oh, this is really cool. And I would actually like to see more video game companies team up with production studios and stuff to do these projects so I can get a peek behind The Witcher 4 or God of War La Fey. So if it does that, I think that's really dope. And I don't have a great appreciation for how Rockstar works. So if I get a peek behind the scenes and it gives me like oh, this is how this is made, I would really like to see that. Especially because I feel like Rockstar almost feels kind of like a black box at this point. Like, we know the stuff that they make, but we have zero idea how those studios work. And it's a massive studio, isn't it? Like well over 1,000 employees or something like that.
Probably.
Yeah. So like, I think it'd be really cool to see something like that. I am a little bit bummed though. Like, I get it, from a business standpoint. I'm sure Rockstar got a lot of money to put this thing on Netflix, even just 6 hours before YouTube. But, I do feel for people who are really excited and aren't currently subscribed to Netflix or, whatever it might be. It's just a little bit of a bummer that like the kickoff of the marketing is locked behind a paywall. But also, fact of the matter is, like, most people have access to Netflix in some way. And like I said, if they do the Twitch co-stream, like, that's also just another way to open it up to more people. So we'll see. As of right now, I think it could be really cool, but 30 minutes of like really showing how the game works and the gameplay, they're definitely, I don't want to say convincing people to pre-order it, because we're about to get into just how like strong the response has been for the game, but like, I know a big criticism from people has been, you want us to pre-order the game and we feel like we haven't seen the game. So it does show a ton of confidence in their product that they're just basically going to put out 30 minutes of not uncut gameplay, but surely a lot of gameplay, considering we haven't seen much before this.
I, for one, am very excited for the extended look. Not really that fussed that it's on Netflix. I'd understand the hang-ups and I get putting it behind a paywall, but it's also like quite business savvy and business minded, because that also means that people that aren't necessarily on the ground into gaming or gaming news are going to see that pop up on Netflix and be like, oh yeah, GTA 6 is coming, probably get a few more pre-orders out of that. So it's smart for both Netflix and Rockstar to do it. I probably will just watch it when it comes on Netflix, because it'll only be 30 minutes and I'm desperate to see what's going on. But I'll probably also watch people reacting to it as well. And like you said, even for people without Netflix, it will be available a few hours later, and then it will also get clipped within the first 30. After 30 minutes has passed, there'll be some YouTube videos, TikToks,
Yeah.
with supposed everything. So no one's really going to miss out. And I think they said, I saw them say something along the lines of that you're allowed to do with the footage as you will. I think I saw that posted somewhere. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, look that up if you do want to post anything from it.
I wouldn't even risk going against Rockstar's lawyers.
Yeah, I do believe the fine print said you're allowed to post clips of it, but posting the entire unedited thing, I think, is where people will start getting their DMCA strikes.
Okay.
Does Netflix post viewership numbers like YouTube does for various things?
No, not on like
what I've noticed.
They might announce it separately, because they probably will talk about how big it was, but they don't show like the viewers on the actual Netflix itself like YouTube does.
Man, I wanted to do a prediction and see, but since we don't know if they'll announce it, but I was going to see if we could do a prediction about how many views it's going to.
It'll be in the millions, I'd reckon.
They will, like you said, Cal. It's more likely they will like confirm how many people tuned in for it.
It's like a bragging kind of
days
point,
after. Yeah, they've done it with other.
I'm gonna
say they do it with particularly popular shows. They'll say that this had so many viewers.
Yeah, they do it with Stranger Things and stuff. I think they are.
I'm gonna say 50 million views within the first week.
I think that's I was gonna say like a couple million, and like actually on, I think at least 1 million, like in the first hour.
Yeah, for sure.
A couple million in the first hour. I think 50 million the first week's easy. I think 50 million the first weekend.
Wasn't the first trailer on YouTube, like, isn't it the most watched thing like on YouTube ever?
I think, one of the.
Apparently.
It's like that or the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer or something like that.
I mean, there's 325 million Netflix subscribers. So, yeah, I think 100 million within a little while wouldn't be a surprise, because you have to imagine it will also come up as soon as anybody that clicks, you get that kind of advert.
Oh yeah, it'll be the main big thing.
It will be there a couple days before it. So I reckon a lot of people will
Trailer 1 has 288 million views on YouTube, and trailer 2 has 177. So I know it's been a minute since we've seen those, but I feel like 50 million within a week, that feels about right.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, because they sort of slow down a lot after they hit like the 100 million kind of amount.
True. I wonder if Netflix get more viewership over time, if that would actually boost it, because they could, you know.
I assume they'll keep it there for a while, so it probably would. They'll probably keep pushing it.
I think the real question is
a lot for it.
Once it's non-exclusive, how many people are going to go to Netflix to watch it? You know?
I think it'll be more
I'm just talking about the people already on Netflix, because there's 325 million of them. So you have to imagine that's going to come up on everybody's home screen as soon as they log in. I think after like a week, you'll get a few people that might sub just for it, and then you'll get everybody else just watching it over time, I guess.
What I'm saying though is how many. So like, let's say I don't remember when it comes out, but let's say
November 9th?
But like the time of day, is it at a weird time? Sometimes they do that.
Oh, you're talking about the game or the extended look?
No, the extended look.
Let's see.
I actually don't know. It's at the end of the month. I don't know what time of day though.
But just depending on the time,
27th. Yeah.
Like we might get. I'm curious how many people are like. Because YouTube is kind of the default for like I want to go and watch something about video games. So like I wonder after the 6 hours and it's no longer exclusive to Netflix, are most people just going to go to YouTube to watch it at that point, or is it going to be like?
I think so.
You know, and so then I'm curious, like if it doesn't hit those 50 million within the 6 hours, which it might, I don't know, but like if it doesn't, like how much is that going to slow down post the release of the trailer on YouTube?
I think it'll definitely slow down a lot. I think it'll still get views, but I think those views will be people who are like wanting to scroll through Netflix in the evening, think I'm not sure what to watch, and then see that on the home screen and think, oh, I'm interested in GTA. I'll have a look at that. It won't be anyone who's really looking forward to it will just go to YouTube because it'll be through there.
I found the times. It's going to be at 8 p.m. UK British summer
That's
time,
not bad.
and 3 p.m. Eastern time. So I don't know what is Eastern time to you, Matt. It'll be 3 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, 3 p.m. Eastern, and then it'll be noon for me on the West Coast. Interesting.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is quite a decent time considering, because 8 p.m. UK is decent. People will still be up. People will still be ready to watch that, and then midday to evening for America. I think that they've figured that time decently, but I guess it's going to be like an international thing anyway, so we'll see.
Yeah, they want to make sure everyone's watching it whenever they can. The issue I always have when something's live in America, it's like over here it's about like 3 a.m.
Yeah, true.
You want to get into what Zelnick had to say during their investor call?
Yes.
Just talking about, I knew he's talked to Jason Schreier too and given him a couple more details as well.
Yes. Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to say, Matt, because you just gave me an idea. You know, when we were talking about the extended look, you said it is interesting that it's going to be on the subscription service and what that could mean. And it made me wonder if that would mean an improved quality of how it's all kind of laid out. Would this be like a premium experience rather than, you know, normally YouTube videos have a certain feeling to them? A lot of them are quite high quality and stuff like that.
I get what you mean, yeah.
Kratos and stuff, but I wonder if this is going to have that Netflix documentary feel. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
I always assumed it was just going to be like 30 minutes of just straight up gameplay.
I don't think it's going to be that.
But I think if it's going to be like, I think something that sort of I related to a bit, like kind of like the Xbox developer directs, and how like here's some gameplay, here's what we're doing with the game, here's this, but then also have like interviews with the people working on it. If it's like that, I would assume if it's going on Netflix, and obviously it's Rockstar, they've got the money for it, they're probably just going to make it look as good as possible. This is like this is probably going to be the biggest marketing thing they have until it comes out. Like it's 30 minutes of gameplay and stuff. I think they're going to really put everything into it.
I hope so. And I hope it kind of sets a precedent so that we get more like it. Like you said, Matt, like if Sony Santa Monica were to do it with the upcoming God of War, if we got more of these like Netflix specials, that highlight video games. I'd actually be down for something like that. That would make my Netflix subscription worth more to me personally if they had exclusive footage, exclusive interviews with dev studios and stuff. I'd be
I think even just outside of Netflix, like just is like how they promote the game anyway. My hot take's always been that my favorite, like, you know, we have like Xbox Showcase and stuff, but I've always loved the developer directs because like they'll only show 4 games, but they'll show them off and they'll have like a lot of in-depth conversations about it. And I'd love if more games had that sort of level of like care and like, here's how we feel about the game, here's what we want to talk about. I think like I remember when PlayStation used to do state of plays specifically for the game. They could do them for Netflix kind of thing. Have like a big showcase kind of.
I'd be down for that. As long as it's got like worthwhile content. So yeah, it could be quite a good move for the gaming industry. Better kind of promotion campaigns. Yeah. But yes, we will move into Strauss. I keep saying Strauss every time I mention him. I say Strauss. Strauss Zelnick comments. So he said that the sales are already well over 90% digital, and these are talking about the pre-order sales for GTA 6. Streaming could make expensive consoles less important in a few years. Very interesting thing to hear from one of the biggest game development publisher studios, whatever. And not concerned about Rockstar's labor tribunal press affecting the launch, which is interesting again. And they have confirmed that no AI is being used in the development of GTA 6, which is nice to know. And I think we all assumed as much anyway. But yeah, Matt, I'm going to let you kick off because I feel like you're itching to say some things on some of the comments that Strauss has made here.
I mean, you know, I'm unsurprised by his comments, but it's still very disappointing to hear like justification, I guess, for a lot of these things. Like, especially coming from incredibly profitable companies. Like, I do understand it, and I do personally, you know, lend more credence to these sort of claims for smaller studios or companies who are struggling in the moment, and they really do need to find areas to cut costs and make things work, you know. But when it comes to, you know, talking about, you know, they're over 90% digital, so we should just stop with the other stuff, or like we shouldn't service that part of our customer base, like, or the streaming thing, like it's going to become more and more important so we can give people more access. I was telling Cal, like, that worries me because then what happens if streaming becomes the cheaper way to get people in instead of subsidizing consoles and hardware? It's just like the general like catering to the whales mindset that like bothers me. Like I get it. Don't get me wrong, from a business perspective, but it's super frustrating to see because like there was a day and age where if the customer felt a certain way or someone wanted it, the companies would do everything they could to facilitate that. And it does feel like we're living in an era now where these companies are just more concerned with their profit margins and less concerned with actually like building a fan base and like a customer base that trusts them and appreciates what they do. You know, for a long time in gaming, it was about how can we service like the gamers better. And now it feels like how can we get more money out of the gamers, you know? And that's a really frustrating thing to see. The AI thing is great though. Rockstar has always been masters of their craft. And as much criticism as Take-Two gets, I've always said that Strauss should get a lot of credit for like trusting their studio's process and being somewhat hands-off as a CEO can be. And to see them not push AI into what essentially could have been like an AI-filled project where it's, you know, so big and they have so much to do and they're spending so much money anywhere that they could cut corners, they could, but to see them not do it in this instance is really nice. I'm very curious to see how this goes. You know, every day that passes, it just gets a little bit more hyped up and a little bit more like, you know, what's going to happen. But yeah, I'm not thrilled with the 90% digital thing. I don't think it's an excuse not to produce discs or produce physical copies. And streaming will probably become the entry point, but I do worry about what that does long term for the health of the industry. And if it actually becomes like a proper gateway into gaming, or if it's just always going to be this side thing, I guess remains to be seen.
Yeah, it is interesting. I will say, just on the topic of that, well over 90% digital, and that seems like it's being framed as an excuse to push digital going forward. Obviously, after Sony made their decision with the PlayStation cancelling or stopping digital physical copies, but it's interesting that they say that about GTA 6 when there's no real physical copies available to pre-order. They're all codes in the box.
I
So
was thinking that.
of course, well over 90% of people are not going to waste their time on an empty box with a piece of paper in it. It would be interesting to see what those stats would be if they had launched or the pre-orders were to launch GTA 6 with a physical. Then we could see the difference. If there was actually a disc-based physical, that's a difference I'd like to see. If it was still well over 90 or 80%, then their argument might have some basis. But as it stands, you've got the choice of digital or a code in a box. It's not the same as physical. So saying it like that was interesting to me. Kyle, what do you think of this whole debacle with what Strauss has had to say?
I'm in the same boat where I've written before how much I love physical. I'm a big physical advocate. But it's like I still buy my game digitally because I don't think that it should be this or that. It should be the option for both. And when they say 90% of purchases were physical were digital, and as you say, there's no physical copy. So what do you mean? Like even the physical copies are still basically digital copies. So it's sort of like, why would you buy that? But one of my other viewpoints I sort of think about is that 10%. How much is it going to cost you really just to keep them happy? Is it really going to cost you that much more money? Like if you obviously for indie games, and obviously like Alan Wake 2 never got a physical copy. They got one eventually. Like some games they just can't afford to do it right now, and then they might eventually find another way to do it, which I think is great. But Rockstar's one of the biggest like publishers. Like they can afford it. They're gonna make so much money off this game. It's gonna be the biggest game release of all time. They can afford discs. And I don't think like that 10% is going to be in the millions of players. So it's just sort of like, why not just do it? Why not just have the disc? Like you're not going to spend that much money on them, but it is what it is. But I mean,
I'm
even
totally
with the
with
other
you.
things, I do think that like I fully agree with what Matt said about the streaming being a potential issue in the future. As I mentioned to him earlier, I enjoy streaming games as physical, like as an option. I'll play my Portal downstairs. GTA 6 will probably be one that I'll play on my Portal downstairs every so often when I can't. I don't want to be upstairs, and especially in this English heat. So I just sort of like, I think it's a great option, but it's a terrible way to like experience a video game normally. Just playing it natively is so much better. And I think the idea that this is going to replace normal playing game normally, I think is one of those things I don't think will ever happen. I don't think anyone will really adopt that. It will be a good way to get into a game if it's too expensive, but no one will ever think that this is like the way everything is from now on. It will never be that.
I hope you're right, but whenever we talk about like the future of streaming, it always makes me think back to mobile gaming. And I remember when, games first started to make an appearance on phones in force. I'm not talking about Snake on the old Nokias, but like
Yeah,
when you
the
start to
Angry
get like
Birds and
Candy
stuff.
Crush, Angry Birds, all of those
Yeah.
kind of old school touchscreen games. When I was a kid, I used to play them because kids, you'll play that. I loved Angry Birds and all that, but I would never have put that in place of my PlayStation. Uncharted, Tomb Raider, all the games that I could play on there were so much better. And I had friends and stuff that used to like not proper gamer friends, but more like casual friends of
Yeah.
that just, like they play on their phones and they'd be like, "Oh, this is the best game I've ever played," and I'd be like, "You need to get yourself a PlayStation." And I never thought that mobile gaming would get as big as it is, but now mobile gaming is arguably, well, I don't even think it's arguable. I think it just is more popular than console gaming. I think it is one of the most popular formats to play a game on just because of the accessibility and the casual nature. Pick it up and put it down. And that's what worries me about streaming is the casuals will come in at a cheaper price point. Most of what blocks people from getting into games now is that you need a decent PC or you need a rather expensive console. Whereas if they do remove that, I do fear that a lot of people will jump in and they will be a casual audience and not as invested as people that are willing to pay for the platform to play on. But there will be enough of them to make businesses cater to that over, because they're clearly, like you said, they're no longer interested in catering to a minority. They want to make their product as accessible as possible to as many people as possible. So I genuinely do worry that streaming, as much as we don't want it, is actually going to be if not the future of gaming, then a big part of that future, bigger than you'd probably want it to or anticipate. But that's kind of my 2 cents. But
we did mention about the fact of it will be one of those things where, you'll buy the PS6, but you can't afford the PS7 or the PS8, and they just go, you can still play the games, just stream them through your PS Plus subscription. Spend £150 a year, and then you can stream them after you buy them. And it's like not a good way of experiencing these games, like unless they make streaming better, which they won't because that costs money.
True.
It will. I think you're right. It probably could become the way they go, but in my view, I think it's just kind of a depressing future.
It is. Well, you can look to Stadia for how that was the closest we got to that full shift, and that performed really badly, but then that was really mishandled. I feel like if the right people came in with the right idea, and Sony, Xbox, even Nintendo would be the ones to do it, they could push that future, much like the way that Matt has mentioned before, that it's to stop that kind of financial block for people that you could play. If they like, you could play it on your phone, like what Xbox was doing. This is an Xbox, this is a PlayStation, does everything. I feel like that could be a way to go, but I also do understand it would cost them a lot in infrastructure, but if they decide to make it doable, it would return in dividends probably. So it's interesting. I look forward to seeing how it goes. I hope consoles stick around, but I am a bit cynical on this because every step that I hoped they wouldn't make, they've made in the past decade. So now scared. You know what I mean? If they're going to kill physical releases off, why not push a streaming service as the best way to play,
I think we're starting to really see that, like, we're in an age where I don't know how to say without really sounding too cynical, but like what the consumer wants isn't important anymore. It's what like makes the investors the most amount of money. So it's like, PlayStation did the physical, and as much as I would absolutely adore them to change that, because it doesn't just impact games, it impacts movies and everything else. It's like they'd already made the decision, they'd already changed everything before they announced it, because they knew no one would like it, but they can't go back on it now. So that's why I just don't really shout about it, because I know nothing's going to change. And it's just like streaming, they might just go one day, hey, streaming consoles are done, streaming is the only thing, and then you're like, what are you gonna quit your hobby? No.
Yeah,
well, that's how the attitude will be.
Got us by the balls, mate.
And you can kind of make you can make these predictions come true if you're Sony or Rockstar, like you guys were mentioning earlier, or Jay, I can't remember if Jay or Cal was saying, like, you can say we have, X amount of digital sales, and then make the digital product so much better than the physical product, or like as comparable to the physical product as possible, to where then people are like, well, then why would I buy the physical product? You do the same thing with streaming, where like you could say, we're going to actually reduce the cost of PS Plus. We're going to put more things as streamable titles. We're going to reduce the latency. We're going to do all of these things. And then they're going to say, actually, we've seen, a 50% increase in streaming video games, and people actually don't care about ownership anymore. And they actually would just prefer to stream their games. Like, it's really easy to do if you're a business. Whether or not the customer likes it is like up to the customer to actually stop using the product. But when you like coax the customer down a certain way, like, sometimes there's just not a whole lot you could do. Like they could, if they wanted to, price the PlayStation 6 at like a ridiculous cost. Like, say they could be like, I'm not saying they're going to do this. This is just entirely a hypothetical, but they could be like, the PlayStation 6 is $2,000. Oh, you don't want one? Just keep your PS5, stream your games until you can afford one. And then it's like there's a genuine argument to be like, I'm streaming first. Like, again, I'm not saying that Sony is some incredibly evil organization that is actually planning on doing that, but like there is a world where
which one?
Yeah, there is a world where they could do something like that, and they're not technically lying. They're just creating a reality that most people are saying as of right now they don't want. But push comes to shove, they could do it, and then it's up to people to say I don't want that and go do something somewhere else. Same thing with Grand Theft Auto. If you're not happy with the no physical, you can either
buy it.
just don't buy it, or wait for it to come to PC where that hasn't been supported for a long time. Like whatever, you might want to pirate it. What, not advocating for that, just saying, but like there are ways to like not support these things while still like making your dent in the bottom line, no matter how small.
The one thing I always find funny with, like, I know a lot of people bring up the PC argument about no digital, like no physical, and I've said before that I think if physical was killed entirely, and like let's say PS6 didn't come with, if it came with a disc drive, I'd say with the disc drive, I'd say with PlayStation just to play my old games, but like if I couldn't play them at all, I would move to PC, and everyone goes, oh, but PC hasn't got physical, and I sort of think, yeah, but PC's like way better for the digital ecosystem. Like they've got much better consumer rights. They've got so many better things. There's so much competition there. There's different storefronts. It's not just PlayStation or Xbox. And so it's like, yes, I'd much rather play on disc, but if I'm being forced into a digital future, I'll go somewhere that's better as a consumer for that digital future.
I totally agree with that. The more I look into like the gaming ecosystems, a PC is obviously the most financially consumer friendly and appealing kind of out of all of them. And it's annoying that consoles create their own ecosystem that they kind of lock you in, and that's kind of what a lot of people are even saying because of what PlayStation is doing. Is we're feeling like that kind of iron kind of cage.
You have to buy games at the price they tell you to buy them at.
Exactly, but they also lock you in a different way, because for someone like me, I've been a PlayStation fan for like my whole life. It's over 2 decades, and I've got nearly 2 decades worth of digital downloads all the way back from like PS3 and stuff, all my PS2 games that I bought way back then that still work now. There's loads of stuff on that digital storefront that I can't access anywhere else. If I move to the PC ecosystem, I'd have to rebuy a lot of it, or just keep hopping back to outdated hardware when it kind of in like 5 years from now. So it is rough that they've kind of snatched that choice away, and that for me is why as soon as I can financially afford it, I would love to get a decent gaming rig and probably switch to the PC experience, because it is more consumer friendly. It's more customizable. And once you get into that world, a lot of people, like I'm sure you guys will tell me because you guys are on PC more than me, but once you get into the PC world, I thought you were on PC.
I'm not. I'm on Steam Deck. I'm considering moving.
Okay,
I'm like, I'm like fully console, but I would.
So you get where I'm coming. Well, it's Fume and Matt that have really been like getting into my head, because they tell me about their experiences, obviously share their experiences with PC, and it's like, the way I see it is a bit of a higher barrier to entry. That's what consoles have always had, is that convenience. But once you've crossed that in a PC, you don't want to go back to the brick that is a console. Is very limiting. You can't do as much. Once you go on PC, you got your mods. You can configure your system to look and feel exactly how you want. You can do things with a PC that you just can't, and that's the whole kind of thing. So I feel like once me and you, Cal, once we get into it, maybe we might be having a very different conversation in 5 years.
I always had this. I always had the same mentality of you of like I've been on PlayStation for probably about 10 years now, and Jesus Christ, it has been about 10 years. Wow, I feel old now. But like, I didn't think it was that long ago I switched. But like, I was on Xbox and I switched to PlayStation. It's like so many years, like thousands and thousands of pounds worth of games are on here, and like saves and like trophies and everything.
Yeah,
and I sort of think about like, oh, it's going to cost me so much money to get them all back, and I sort of think like, then I realized like they're all older games. I could just go on one Steam summer sale and probably spend about 500 quid and get them all over again. Buy every single game I want again. Yeah, and obviously there is that option of piracy. Not saying that you should pirate things, but there is that option there.
It's always there.
Different things to do. There's different storefronts. There's different ways you can get these games. Yeah. I'm going to stick to one platform.
I feel like as well.
I wish you could do with PlayStation.
The removal of discs is like, I know a lot of people are probably going to disagree with this, but I believe the removal of discs removes a big reason for owning a console. Like that, like 100%. That's just a positive, that they're removing. like it's just one less thing it can't do now, right? Like it can't play your movies. I just found out the other day that PlayStation stopped supporting music, I believe, for the first, like you can't put in like a music CD and it'll play it.
I didn't even know they did that.
Like this stopped a number of years ago and nobody really raised a big fuss, which fair enough. You know, how many people really listen to music on disc now, which is probably going to sound very hypocritical, but either way, the removal of disc support is a big minus for the console, even if you don't use it, because it's one less thing that it was capable of. The same way that when disk drives stopped coming standard on PC cases and stuff, that was a big negative for PC. You know, things have changed since then and, you know, it's less of a big deal, but just advocating for less, I think is very silly. And, you know, same thing with GTA, like not being able to own like a disc long term, add it to my collection, show it on my shelf, lend it to friends, whatever it might be. That is a negative for me as a consumer. And that's why I voiced my opinion on it, right? Like I would always want the option to. I mean, that Red Dead Redemption 2 Steelbook with the double discs looks so good. And like things like that, I do think we're going to be missing some years down the line when it's the only way to see GTA 6 being preserved is on a screen and not, you know, something that you can hold and remember as something that you were there for.
The one thing you did mention, I don't want to. Obviously, I feel like we're probably going to move on from the disc conversation. I don't want to drag it too long. But it's like when you mentioned the whole like advocating for less, and it's the one thing I see online all the time, and I'm always getting in arguments with people online over the physical discs. I'm much of an advocate for this stuff, and it's like I see people online going, "Oh no, it's fine that they're getting rid of it. They're getting rid of it." And I sort of think, like, if you're not bothered about them removing it, I've no issue with that. I think I know people who just don't, who have this digital games, like they don't use a disc drive. It's not an issue. If you don't want to argue about it, that's fine. I've got no issue with that. It's the people who are arguing that it's a good thing or like arguing for it. I sort of think, why, like, as a consumer, you're getting less options to play a game. Like, I can go to the store. Like, I think I bought about like 5 games for about, I think for like £5, and it was like, if I win them on digital, if I want them digitally, even on sale, I'm getting them way more. Or I can go to a boot sale, which is a thing I don't know if they do over in America, but like I'll be able to get like games for really cheap just to have that option.
Is that like a flea market?
Like, I think that kind of thing.
Okay.
Just people selling their stuff.
Yeah, people just selling random things, and you'll have like some random mum who's selling their kids' rare PS3 games that are selling for about £200 on eBay, and I can get for £2.
I don't know what they're selling.
There's been a couple of times of that where I've even said to them like, okay, here's £10. Like it's more than you're asking for, but like I'm like. Yeah,
I'll be ripping you off otherwise. Yeah,
I'll be ripping you off if I don't give you a little bit more than that. But it's like just having that experience, and it's like, if you don't want to engage in that, that's fine. But I don't see why you would want to defend not having that opportunity. Like either do or don't. And it's, you know, people want to argue about things online, and it's things that you don't need to argue about.
True. Anything else anyone wants to say before we move on from said topic?
No. Excited to see it.
Okay,
yeah. Bring it on.
Okay, cool. So next we'll be talking about GTA 6 and Take-Two's earnings. So Take-Two reported their latest financial results on August 7th. For anyone that hasn't seen that, they made more money from games and game orders / pre-orders than they expected in the last 3 months, probably due to the GTA 6 stuff. GTA Online and in-game purchases are still performing very strongly, which is to be expected. Bearing in mind, how long has GTA 5 been out for now? GTA Online,
isn't it
over a decade,
13 years?
Like 13 bloody 13, years, 12, and that is still 13 performing. Years. And that's all shark cards,
still
by the way.
The charts, yeah.
In-game purchases, shark cards, still performing very strongly, which is crazy after that long, actually. They raised their prediction for the whole year to 8 billion to 8.2 billion in total orders, and most of that boost is coming from GTA 6 launching in November. So in short, GTA 6 pre-orders are strong, and Take-Two is now more confident about having a massive year this year and obviously going into 2027. Pre-orders have been called, and I believe this is another thing that Strauss might have said, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're unprecedented and astonishing. GTA 6 confirmed, still on track for November 19th, which is great because a lot of people were rumoring another delay, which would have been really annoying. And Strauss also defends the $80 price point. I'm really interested to talk to you guys about this. So he states that it has a phenomenal value and is an incredible bargain. And there's going to be, obviously, as we can see, a major marketing push across virtually every social platform going forward. So yeah, guys, what do you think of Take-Two's earnings and comments on the price point for GTA 6? Cal, you can kick us off on this one. I think Matt started off last time.
Yeah, no, it is. I think I don't really know. There's a lot in that. I don't know where to start.
Sorry.
I think the main thing I sort of think about is the $80 price point. I think sort of the most contentive thing about the game. And over here, it is the same price as every other game. So over here, it's £70. Saros are £70. All of these big games are that price. So for me, it's not. I can justify buying that, but also for me, I game share, so I'm gonna go halves on it. I'll get it half price. So it's I sort of look at it, I think, you know what, yeah, that's a no-brainer. But I do get why people are mad about it. Obviously, I see in things where in other areas where the currency change is way worse, where the standard edition is $120 or something, and it's that's too much for any video game. But it's I think that I think a GTA 6 does warrant a high price. I mean, from what I'm playing of the originals, I've not even gone to GTA 5 yet. I think these games are the top of the line types of experiences, and I think they do warrant a premium price. But my concern is that other studios will see, hey, this game did amazingly, and it was priced this well. Let's price ours that well. And I sort of think the only reason Rockstar does it is because it's GTA. They've got years of people playing their games thinking this is amazing, and they trust them to make another great game. But I can't say if Ubisoft released a new Assassin's Creed game that was $80, I don't think that's worth it, because I played your other games. Even if it's really good, I've played your other games. I don't trust you to release a game worth that price. So I'm curious to see how the industry sort of takes that, because I think it's all right. I think I'm not outraged by this game specifically having this price, but I would be outraged if games that are bad have that same price later down the line. Not to say that GTA will be amazing or won't be bad. Touch wood, hopefully it's amazing. But I've got more faith in Rockstar than other studios around there to price a reasonable price. But yeah,
I'm totally agree with you. I totally am with you on that, Cal. My thing was always to say, whenever anyone said about GTA 6 possibly raising the price for games across the board, is that a lot of studios will learn a very harsh lesson if that becomes the norm. Because what you'll learn quickly is every game is not GTA 6. Every game is not made by Rockstar. There are a few other studios that I'd say, just to name a few, would be like CD Projekt Red. And maybe Naughty Dog and Sony Santa Monica and there's probably a few others if I thought hard enough about it that probably could, from me at least, get that kind of investment. But you're right, if Ubisoft made it their formula going forward, me personally, I'm a big fan of Ubisoft, so I might put that money down for the next Assassin's Creed. But I feel like the backlash, because you also have to take into consideration what is your reputation with your audience. Ubisoft will get bitch slapped by the audience for that kind of move. People will just be waiting to shit on them. Do you get what I'm trying to say, though? A lot of people already. So it's I would love to see other companies try, especially EA, try it, because I don't buy your games anyway.
See what happens.
Go against them. Well, I do buy the Jedi games. I don't buy any of their sports stuff anymore, not since FIFA 2021. But yeah, everything is not GTA. So I can see GTA. I think despite Strauss would say that because he obviously makes a lot of money off of GTA, but I think he is being honest when he says the value is going to outweigh the cost, because I think GTA 6 is a game that people are going to be able to put a lot of time into, and when the online that's exactly it. Then this is going to be it will be a good value for money. But no, every Assassin's Creed game shouldn't do it. Yeah, this was some people are going to buy this and not play anything else forever. You know what I mean? It's what is GTA Online? People are still playing that nearly 15 years later. I was still in secondary school when that game came out. That's what's crazy to me. I remember. Okay, so you're probably what, about 5 years? How old are you? Sorry, Cal.
I'm 20. I'm
If you don't mind me
23.
asking. 23. So yeah, I'm 28. So you're 5 years
Yeah.
younger than me. This is like our childhoods we're looking back at there.
Yeah.
But imagine people are still playing that, Cal. People are still
'Cause
playing that
I
game.
remember GTA being one of those games where like people from school were playing, and I was like, I'm not allowed to play this. This is too old for me. I'm gonna go home and play Minecraft. Like
Yeah.
this is like, it was one of those games, and I sort of think I feel like really old now that like I can now go to a shop, obviously not because it's not physical, but I can go to somewhere and say I want GTA. Can I play GTA? And they'll like, yeah, here's a copy of it.
You're old.
Yeah, it's like, it just really hurts.
I remember having to beg my dad to get it for me on the day it came out, because obviously I was only 15. Like, to go there, and I saw, like, I shit you not, like half of my school were lined up with their dads and mums waiting to get that game, and we all were talking about it the next day. It is that event game, so yeah, every game
everyone plays
isn't going to
it.
be able to do this.
I've got
Matt,
co-workers who are always talking about it. Like, everyone wants it.
It is a big thing. Same, even that I work at school and I've got co-workers that are talking about GTA. They know I'm into gaming, so they ask me all about this kind of stuff. It's crazy how big of an impact it has. Matt, what do you have to say about GTA? What we just discussed, bruh? My brain.
I have a couple thoughts. Number one, I do not think Strauss Zelnick is even remotely surprised at the amount of pre-orders that they've received. It's just a fun comment. I got to respect it. Like, playing it up for the crowd, playing it up for your investors is great. But I don't think he's even if it's like 40, 50 million pre-orders already, like, I don't even think he's surprised. Secondarily, I don't think it's ever the place of the CEO to say that the customer is getting great value for something, at least publicly. Like, I understand it when you're discussing something, like if we're talking like Costco or something, and they're saying like, oh yeah, the customer's getting really great value for our $1.50 hot dog combo. That's why we keep it at that price. Totally fine. But publicly, the role of the CEO is not to tell the customer that they're getting a good value. The customer is the one that should decide if they're getting good value for their money. The only thing you do when you make that statement is you're setting yourself up for failure. For instance, like, if I was telling someone about this podcast and I said, actually, you're getting really great value. We don't run any ads. We do, like 2.5 hours of talking bi-weekly. We edit it ourselves. We do all this stuff. And then they watch it and they go like, this podcast sucks. But I'm like, I said it was good value. Like, who's right? Obviously the person watching. Same thing with Zelnick, right? Like, it's just a little silly to like come out and say it's great value. And like, no one's played it yet. We have no idea if the game's good. I'm not saying it's going to be bad, but like, again, it's just, you're jumping the gun. If the game comes out and it's $80, or you bought the $100 edition and it scores 99 on Metacritic and everybody's raving about it and you play it for the next 6 years, then, retroactively you can go, dude, I got great value for my money there. But for the company to come out and say, actually, you should buy our product because you're getting like a steal on this, just feels slimy. I don't know why.
No, I get you. I do get you. It's cheeky.
Yeah, exactly.
It's also not like they're going to come out and say, oh, it's really bad value. You shouldn't buy our game.
Could you imagine?
They're going to say anything they can to make
Can you
buy
imagine
it.
if it came on like, we could have made it a bit cheaper.
It's all right.
The water physics aren't that good,
Yeah, just buy Black Flag instead. Like, of course they're going to tell you to. It's like,
They are getting more in your face, though, aren't they? Cheeky, man.
I love these investor calls because, yes, they can't lie because, like, legally they will get sued into oblivion if they lie to their investors. But man, watching them or listening to them sometimes, and you hear what people have to say, is so funny because you know that they know that regular people are watching and listening, but they also have to play it up for the camera. And so the way that they just ham it up sometimes is hilarious. And like, in retrospect, it's just great. We're going to forget about it in 2 weeks, but I got to give them credit for playing it up and having fun with it.
No, I agree. Are we moving on, or have we got anything more to say about GTA 6 and Take-Two's earnings?
I got a quick question. Do you guys think that GTA 6 Online could be sold as its own separate premium product?
I've had this.
You can take this one.
I've had this a lot because I've had the conversation about GTA Online a lot because, like, when I've mentioned like my colleagues are into it, they're always saying, everyone's saying 27th of November or whatever day it comes out, like, we're all going to buy it and we're all going to play it together. And I've always had to say, we're not doing that because GTA Online won't be out.
Yeah, it won't. Yeah.
So of course, I've prefaced that with another question also, is when you think GTA Online would come out. Because I don't think they're going to wait too long because they know how much money that's going to make from shark cards and everything. But it's like, would they sell it as a separate thing? I think it'll be one of those things where, because I think, if I'm right, GTA 5 Online is now separate. I think.
It might be. It
Remember.
wasn't. It historically wasn't.
It was. Yeah, it wasn't at the start, but I think it might be now. Same with Red Dead. I can't. Don't quote me on that. But that's sort of what I remember seeing. But it's one of those things where you can still access it through GTA 6. But then if you just want to play the online, you can play the online portion. So I think they will probably do that and probably say, hey, for $35, $40, you can just have the online aspect. How much content's in that at the start, we don't know. But I do think they probably will. It may not be at launch, but I do think they will probably at some point do that. They might just see how many people are playing and whether they think it's worth doing a separate release for it.
You're right, Cal. They are now both, I think, like purchasable and accessible as separate kind of things.
So it might be when it comes out, then they might have it as a separate option then.
That's what I'm thinking. My answer to your question, Matt, would be that they definitely could do that, but I don't think it's a good idea to separate it. Like, if you already bought GTA 6 at launch, I think you should get GTA Online, and that's sorted. I don't think they should then wait 3 to 6 months or a year, however long, for GTA Online and then charge you an extra 50 quid, whatever. I think if you've owned it, it should just be added in and now you've got access to it. But I think they could also do what they have done now, is give you a separate option so that you could buy a GTA campaign or you could just buy the GTA Online. I think that's fair enough, and they should both be like maybe 50 quid each with like a $70 full package, or 70 quid to $80 full package. That's what I'd say.
I do think it'll be one of those things where you, like you say, I think it will be a case of you buy $70, $80, you get the game, and then online comes out and it's a free update, and it comes, and then obviously, because you're going to be getting the money through shark cards and people buying online, but then they'll have the same day, you can buy it separately for the people who aren't interested in the single player. They'll just buy the online. Yeah,
I think that's the best. What do you think,
the best
Matt?
way of doing it?
What do you think they'll actually do, Matt? Hello?
I think.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I was muted.
I can see you. Your head was moving like that.
I was really confused.
It was me.
Oh man!
I was like, has he heard me? Like, what the hell?
No,
Yeah,
I was yapping.
Leave that in. Don't even edit that out.
So, the only thing that has me tripping is Strauss also said that GTA 6 Online is not coming. They don't have plans for it anytime soon, I believe is the official quote. And I do wonder if they have the balls to say, actually, they're two entirely separate things. And if you like, GTA Online is $50 on top of the $80. Like, I almost, again, I'm not saying this as an official prediction. My official prediction is that it just launches probably about 6 months after GTA 6, base game.
We don't know.
But we'll see. I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to where it's entirely a separate product, and like GTA 6 Online becomes like the basis for like just GTA Online or something like that. I don't know.
Mike,
we'll see. I
now
guess.
That you've mentioned that, my question is: do you think, after they said that, do you think they'll factions it and say it was like how factions was meant to be in The Last of Us 2, and then they spun it off to be a separate standalone live service game, and then they cancelled it? I'm sure you're very mad about.
I'm so upset about
it. But do you think that they will maybe say at some point, like, we were planning on doing it for GTA 6, but we decided to make it its own thing? And I think this would be one that they obviously do release because they'll make so much money off
it.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I'm insinuating. It's like, I don't think the bad reputation is there. Like, I think if anything, I think there's so many reasons that it's giving me pause. I mean, number one, like you guys have mentioned, enough people just assume that GTA 6 is launching day one with online, and it's not, obviously. Like, they've been very clear about that.
Yeah.
But number two, like, I think enough people, like enough casual gamers who are not tapped in, just genuinely don't care about Grand Theft Auto, like the story mode and all that stuff, that if they had the option to not buy it, like
they would.
They would. And like I could see it being a possibility. Again, that it's not entirely like they will do that, but it wouldn't surprise me. I would be like, yeah, I did kind of see that coming.
I actually agree with you a lot on that. I fully agree with you on that point. I do think there are a lot of people that would not buy the single player at all. I mentioned obviously, like, bringing up again, like, co-workers and stuff, because they're all very casual. They're sort of my glimpse into the casual gamer, because I can't really talk to people online because everyone online is as into gaming as I am. But like, when I talk to them, it's like they never speak about single player. They never speak about the story. They never speak about like, oh, I can't wait to see a mission like this. Like, I'm always like, oh my god, I can't wait to see how they do this story. Like, that's like, I don't care about online. I love single player. Though I would, they all think that GTA will come with online. I do think that they will, if they say, hey, it's $50, £50, just the online, I think a lot of people will just buy that.
I agree. I think you're right. I honestly think, just based on what Matt, was it you that just said a minute ago that Strauss said that GTA Online is not coming anytime soon?
That I believe that was the direct. Here, I need to look this up now.
It's okay, because just going off of that, if that is the case, and you can definitely verify that quote, but I had a feeling that if GTA Online is not coming day and date, then it's not coming anytime soon, was my thought process, because I can't remember how long the gap was between GTA 5 and its online component.
I think it was a year.
And that's quite a long time. And I think they'd be smart to wait a year or two before they drop the online, because in the meantime, GTA 6 is going to be that thing. Oh my god, what is going on with Matt's face? That's so funny.
Oh, sorry.
GTA 6 is going to be that, like you said, and I'm going to keep quoting you on this, Cal, that event game that everyone will buy. So, like, you've got your co-workers that they would, if they could, buy the online on its own. But if GTA 6 in it is the campaign is all that's available for 2 years, how much do you bet that they will just get that anyway and play the single player
just to say they're playing GTA?
Exactly. Yeah. But also the good thing about GTA campaign is, though, you don't have to follow the story. You can just go around and beat people up with a baseball bat and get the police on you. That's all I did as a kid. I don't even think as a child, and I'm talking like I played GTA for the first time when I was about 8 years old, I don't think I understood that it had a story, because I think I just loaded up my cousin's save file because he put it on for me, and he had cheats and all this weird stuff that you could do. And this is like probably like GTA Vice City, and all I did was go around and hit people and get chased by the police and die over and I was having the best time of my life. I didn't know that GTA had a story. Pardon?
I think it's kind of easy to miss the story in GTA because it's like the letters on the map, like on the mini map. Obviously now when I'm finally playing them, I think, oh, obviously there's a story there. But then I also think, like, as a kid, I think, I'm just not going to go over there. I want to go beat that person up. I'm going to go beat that person up.
That's like, part of the enjoyment is, how does the AI react? Or I'd be like, oh, what will happen if I just shoot an RPG really near that lady? Like, will the police still come after me? What will happen? Or what will happen if I try to like stack a bunch of cars in front of the train? Do you know what I mean? All kinds of stupid stuff you can do. Same with like Red Dead. It's fun to just mess around in the sandbox. So I think they'd be... Who hasn't done that, man? And
who haven't done that and then feel really bad for it after they like explode into blood and think, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
maybe I'm something's wrong with me.
Maybe I'm the bad guy.
I definitely think that they will just drop GTA 6 at the end of this year, and then we shouldn't expect the GTA Online until like the end of 2027, early 2028, and then it would be a free update for anybody that owns it, but also purchasable separately for like a little bit less. For anybody, or maybe the same price. Who knows what they can justify, really?
You never know. One of my concerns is like, I don't really need to burn, but like, surely they would announce this?
No.
You would think.
What? No.
That they will be online.
No.
Has it been announced yet?
Nope.
It hasn't been announced. I don't think it's coming out soon. I think it will be like in the future.
because it's one of those things where I just sort of think, obviously you wouldn't announce it because people are not going to buy the game. Some people won't buy the game because no online. So I do think within like a few months of it coming out, you say, hey, it's going to, online's being worked on. It's aiming for this time. Because it's sort of like, as we've mentioned, there's a lot of people who are only going to buy it for the online, and you sort of think, obviously they'll have fun doing other stuff, but how many people are going to be like, oh, there's no online, this sucks, kind of thing.
A lot of people will say it, but then
that's what I mean.
I've already heard people say it on podcasts.
They obviously didn't pay attention to any of the marketing that never ever said anything about online.
Oh, but when's that ever stop people complaining?
So yeah, true. This is the really interesting thing. Number one, the direct quote from Jason Schreier of Bloomberg. They have not talked at all, and they are not planning to talk anytime soon about what the new GTA Online will look like. So it is confirmed to be real, and it does exist. We just have no details about it. And then secondarily, as far as what I'm reading online, GTA 5 Online came out 2 weeks after GTA 5.
I thought it was a lot longer than that.
Only 2 weeks?
Yeah, so I do think that actually does give a lot of credence to the people who feel a little shortchanged or gypped about like GTA 6 not launching with online confirmed to be like right after launch, because like GTA 5 did. So like I could totally, I actually understand that a lot more now, because I thought it was about 6 months.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot longer as well. Shows how much attention I was paying.
I know Red Dead Online was a couple of months after. I think it came out around November. I think it was like end of December. Online came out for it. But obviously that's Red Dead. It's not as big of a thing.
No, I think GTA Online, you can mark me now, guys. I don't think we're seeing GTA Online until late 2027, early 2028 at the absolute latest. It would not surprise me if it was up to 2 years after the base game has been out, but I reckon a year to a year and a half would make sense.
I do think that it might be, I sort of have some bets that it might be like a Factions type situation then. Like, if they're waiting that long, it'll be a separate thing, but it's going to be like this massive new experience kind of thing. Like, it's not just GTA again. It's like, there's so much to do.
Maybe it'll be bigger space.
You have to buy,
the only way I could say them justifying creating GTA Online as a completely separate thing from GTA 6 would be if they have it in a different place or have an additional map. So like GTA Online had the same map as GTA 5, but I think if they want it to be a separate thing, it should have a different map or have its own map as well as the base map from the base game, if that makes sense.
Do you think
that would justify having it separate?
Do you think they like elder scrolls it a little bit, where they sort of go every couple of years, they go, here's Liberty City in GTA Online, and you can run around Liberty City, or is it Los Santos, the GTA 5 one, here's a next gen version of Los Santos, and maybe go like, here's London, like we're going to do London and it's in GTA Online, and then GTA 7 will use that map kind of thing.
That would actually be a really
that's
good
maybe
idea.
Really wishful thinking, but I feel like if they're going to go all in on it, go all in on it.
Yeah, I think that would be an excellent idea. I also think it's wishful thinking from both of us, but I think that would justify having it separate. Because otherwise, to that, just add it to what you're already making. How much money? And like you mentioned, I think it was you that said, Cal, it's the shark. Who was it that said that? One of you said the shark cards is where the money is really going to come from. So if you know you're already going to make money from GTA Online, let it be a free addition to the base game, because it will only promote the sales of GTA 6 even more when it does drops. But either way, they're making money. It just depends on how greedy do they want to be, you know?
I'm sorry to go on another tangent. This will be the last time, I swear. Now that we've mentioned shark cards, do you think there'll be any kind of microtransactions in it? Because obviously shark cards is an online thing. No, like GTA 6. They'll put some kind of, like, obviously there'll be an upgrade pack for the deluxe edition, whatever. But do you think they'll have like shark cards or something? Like, because that was always only an online only thing, from what I understand. That you didn't do it. It didn't go into single player. So
no, I hope not.
I don't think they would, but I hope not. I don't think they would. But like, do you think they'd want to go 2 years without having any kind of microtransactions in GTA? That's where a lot of the money is for a lot of these companies.
GTA 6 might also promote more people to play GTA Online along with GTA 5, if that makes sense. So if anybody would be like, people are going to be gutted GTA Online 2 hasn't come out with GTA 6, but some people then might go, look, Matt's fallen asleep. People might go back on
GTA.
People,
like you say about the PlayStation thing, people have got all their money and their time put into this. They're not going to quit. I'm like, unless they unless it's GTA Online 2. That's the only way they'd stop playing GTA Online.
Exactly. I think a lot of people I think they'll still make their money, and they're going to make a killing off of GTA 6 anyway. They're already going crazy with the pre-orders. Yeah, exactly. And as soon as that game goes on its first sale, it'll sell a load more again. Like, it's going to be ridiculous. So
the first sale will be when GTA Online comes out.
Yeah. We'll do like a bundle if they want it to be like, if they want it to.
Here's £5 off.
Exactly. Matt, anything more to say on this? We have talked about this so much.
Dude, talked a lot about GTA.
Honestly, we should just title this the GTA podcast.
We just keep talking about GTA.
We should. Oh my god, yeah. We might as well start talking about that now, guys. Yeah, just
might as well
completely reband it. It's not the Extra Player podcast anymore. It's the GTA
podcast.
Yep, and we will be talking about GTA 7, 8, and 9 in coming podcasts.
I can't wait for GTA 10. They're going to be in London. Again, we've had all of these other ones twice.
No, we had it in London once, didn't we?
But like, we've had Vice City twice. You've had
London GTA game.
twice. We can have London again. Give me a proper English open world game. Watch Dogs Legion doesn't count. I need an actual proper good online game in London.
They have one. It's called Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Shut up.
It's called the Nonsense Podcast at this point. All right, let's move on to some industry and studio news. So we'll start off with Electronic Arts. EA has completed its massive $55 billion leveraged buyout on August 4th. It's officially going private. The buyer is a consortium that includes Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, the PIF, and as majority owner, Silver Lake and Jared Kushner's Affinity Partners. I don't know what that means to a lot of people, but those are the people that now own Electronic Arts. I will just start off before I give you guys the floor. I haven't been an EA fan for a long time at this point. I don't really like their business model. I don't think they're consumer friendly. I don't like the success they've seen from exploiting a seemingly quite supportive fan base in terms of everybody buys FIFA, Madden, and I think NHL and PGA as well is all EA stuff. And all these sports games, they make so much money. The only competition EA has on the sports front is really 2K with the NBA series. That's a whole different conversation. But yeah, I don't know if I even care about this buyout because it doesn't sound to me like this is a buyout that's going to benefit the consumers in any way. This is purely a business move. And if anything, I think EA's part of the reason why it's even been bought for that. That's a $55 billion as well, guys. That's a lot of money, even for any consortium of investors. They're obviously going to milk it for everything it's worth. I saw a YouTube video, I can't remember who, but they said it could just be like a pump and dump where they're just going to pay all this money for EA and then milk it for everything and it'll be dead within the next decade, which is probably what's going to happen. I don't know who these people are, but I've not heard these names before in the gaming scene. So I imagine this is purely a business move. EA was not the best company anyway. They've got some really, really good IPs, and that's what worries me. I hope that what happens is this business model gets dismantled and the IP rights get sold to development studios who actually use them for best. Because as it stands, I've not liked EA for a long, long time. But that's my spiel on it. Matt, what do you think of this?
I mean, a couple things to note. A leveraged buyout means that it's being bought with a significant portion of debt, with the intention that the growth of the company will help pay off that debt. Right. So the asset is valued at $55 billion, but I believe almost half of it was bought with debt.
Okay.
And those interest payments need to be paid off quickly, depending on what the interest rate was. Mm-hmm. Secondarily, I don't think this affects many people who play Madden, FIFA. You probably will see some more uncomfortable decisions when it comes to those games, but that's up to you to make a decision on that. I really think the big one comes here with Respawn and BioWare, as I'm sure you've seen a lot of people note. the single player developers are going to be hit the hardest. I wouldn't be surprised if Respawn just becomes an Apex Legends studio. I don't think the Saudi investment fund is really all that interested in releasing a Star Wars game or more Star Wars games. I definitely don't think they're interested in releasing Mass Effect 5 or Lord forbid another Dragon Age game. It's just like basically the studio or this company was bought by people who don't care about video games purely for the purpose of making money, which is ironic because the studio or the company is called Electronic Arts, and they definitely don't care about the arts of video games. So it is what it is, but the sale is final now, and I just assume we're going to be seeing a lot of layoffs, a lot of sales, and a lot of price hikes / really awkward, kind of gross over monetization of the products that EA already has. So it's a bummer for sure.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just like you, Matt. I'm quite cynical on this buyout. It looks like I think it could really just be like what I heard. It could just be a pump and dump thing. They're just gonna make as much money off of it as they can, pay off whatever kind of debt they've accumulated, and essentially maybe kill the company. I don't see how they could run it any better than the people that already were running it and running it quite poorly for years, but successfully, arguably. Cal, what do you have to say on EA and its buyout?
I'm basically in the same exact boat as you guys. I've never really been a huge EA guy. I was always, if I had to pick a big company who doesn't care about me as a consumer and wants to milk me for everything I'm worth, then I'm more of a Ubisoft guy. So it's like, I've never really, I think as of lately, I think the only EA games I've bought from them were the Star Wars games, Jedi, and then the end of this month, Zero Company, which I can't wait for. But it's like, I've never really cared about them. I'm in like a weird position with them because I can't play their online games. My EA account's messed up. So I like genuinely cannot touch their online games at all. So I just sort of like am very easily just to like not care about them at all. I do like the online, the single player stuff. And I do really want to, I can't wait to, I do want to try Veilguard at some point. I know people say it sucks, but I want to give it a go. It had looked fun, but it's like, it's the same as Ubisoft, where like it's like in their prime. I think they were releasing some incredible games, like really like as you say, Matt, like hone the arts and stuff. They really focus about like making some real artistic releases. And now it's just sort of like whatever can make us the most money. Let's milk EA, like let's milk FC and FIFA and all this stuff for as much as it's worth. Because we know people are still going to buy it, even if we outright say we hate the people who buy our games. Like they'll still buy it. And you don't put 55 billion into a company and not expect something in return. So I think they're going to, we complain about the microtransactions, but I think they're going to get worse. I think, you'll have these Star Wars games and they'll go, hey, here's Cal Kestis. Do you want to pay $20 to get the lightsaber color pack? And a lot of people will say, oh, it's fine because it's just cosmetic. And I hate that. But it's just, it's the way of the world at this point. If it's about money, it's still all they care about. I'm very cynical about company stuff.
But what have they given us to not be cynical about? Like I think we're all on
EA
the same page,
especially
EA, and again Ubisoft. I would always defend Ubisoft a bit more because I think that they do a bit more. But yeah, these companies have made it very clear that they're interested in profits over everything else. My real worries and concerns, much like similar to you guys, BioWare and Respawn, there's probably some other good dev teams in there. Also, Motive, what's going on with that Iron Man game? Hopefully that still gets released. And Mass Effect 5.
I do think that might be if that even comes out. I think there might be, like, if the people looking into it sort of thinking, what has BioWare given us? Like, will Mass Effect even come out? Will they not get, shut down? Like, is like, as you say, like, what worth are they giving the new investors?
Yeah, it is scary. Matt, do you think BioWare and Respawn are going to end up either like massively like dwindled, or what do you think?
BioWare, I think this is gonna hurt to say. I think BioWare is cooked, like genuinely, like as a studio, like, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I feel so bad for the people that work there, but Andromeda, poorly received. Anthem, poorly received. Dragon Age Veilguard, poorly received.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, it's just a name. Like, and I feel bad saying this, but like you're only as good as your last product. And for them, their last 3 products have not been good by their fan standard. And that's what you have to live up to. And a lot of people have said, well, you know, they should be bought out. I don't think there's anyone that can buy them out, number one. I don't think they can go independent. I don't think there's the funding nor the interest to publish those games. Like I said, fan sentiment is at an all-time low. I just don't see a path forward for them that leads somewhere good. And I hate saying that because, like, I'm also talking about people's livelihoods here, but that's just the reality of the situation they find themselves in. Respawn, on the other hand, is like the golden goose, in my opinion. Like, Respawn has been one of my favorite developers since it was formed and they made Titanfall 1. I love Titanfall 1. I love Titanfall 2. I played the crap out of Apex when it came out. I played 1.5 of the Jedi games. I'm waiting to finish the second one until they announce the third one. But like, I've been a massive fan of that company since day one. RIP Vince Zampella, like foundational member of that studio before he left to come back to Battlefield 6. To me, they're the golden goose. Like, they've made an incredible single player game. They've made incredible multiplayer games. They've made a live service game. All 3 of those things are like, most studios are lucky if they can do one. They've done all 3. They're incredibly profitable. Apex has done very well for them for a long time. My worry is that Respawn becomes the Apex studio. And that, I think, would be even worse than, like, the studio shrinking. Like, I would hate for those insanely creative developers to just be forced to work on one project and not have a chance to flex their creative muscles, because we've seen what they can do. They've like genuinely made industry defining games almost every single time that they've released a game. When Titanfall came out, it kicked off like the futuristic movement shooters that we see all the time nowadays with like wall running, and like it combined the mechs with first person shooting. Apex, what like genuinely defined the battle royale genre coming from Fortnite. Like, tons of the changes that came to Fortnite came as a result of Apex. And then for a long time, people just said that we can't have any good Star Wars video games. And then Respawn made the Jedi series and they were like, actually, we can. So that's my worry for them, is that they're just going to be condemned to basically work on Apex until they die, which is really sad. But overall, I really hope for the best for BioWare. I just don't see a path forward for them. And I hope that Respawn is given a chance to do something that isn't just Apex.
I'm totally with you. Yeah, I'm worried about BioWare, but they've been in hot water for a long time. And I just hope that we still get to see the kind of a final ending to that Respawn's Jedi trilogy, because I do worry that this news would result in the cancellation of. I hope that that's far enough along in development that it still gets, you know, finished off and released. And
so like nothing next year game.
Yeah, I reckon if we hear anything about it, we'd hear something maybe towards the end of this year, maybe something next year, and it would get released.
Maybe something like Gamescom or Game Awards. But I do think that like before they get sent to the Apex mines, they will probably end up releasing. Because I know that they did announce years ago, like they were doing different Star Wars games. There was the top down. There was the strategy one, which I think got turned into Zero Company. And then they were like, they did announce a few different Star Wars games. I think there was meant to be an FPS, but I think a lot of them got cancelled. I think so. It was basically just the Fallen Order games. So I do think they'll probably say, was this far along with Fallen Order 3? Let's release it, finish the trilogy, and then we'll get stuck in Apex mines, which is heartbreaking to say because they've got so much more in them. Like they can do they're probably one of the best studios out there. Like they're so able to they're easily able to diversify themselves, but they're going to get put into what makes the most money, and that's, you know, the way of the world now.
Shame. Hopefully though, like we said, we get Jedi and a nice cap off. Speaking of, just on the topic of Star Wars games, guys, there are actually so many Star Wars games. I wouldn't blame you owners of EA for just not even getting into that anymore, because there's actually a ridiculous number that have already been announced from various studios. We've got like 2 of the same game really that sounds like is coming out with that Fate of the Last Fate of the Old Republic and the Knights of the Old Republic remake. I think that's quite confusing.
Yeah. Which one ever comes out first?
Well, it looks like the one that was announced later, the one that was most recently announced, would be the one that is going to come out first, because that KOTOR remake seems to be stuck in some sort of hellish development.
But also the Fate one, apparently that got. I mean, I'm really excited for the Fate one because that's from like the people who did the original games. Yeah. But it's good. I can't remember his name, but like the guy who did it was like the BioWare legend. He's like one of the greatest to ever do it. But apparently that was like barely even in production, like not even in full production yet. So it's like I have no idea what will come out. It could be either of them at this point.
Yeah, or none.
If they come out, you know how it is now.
It's scary. But yeah, there's a lot going on. Crazy stuff. All right, let's move on to our next topic. So Halo Studios obviously just dropped Halo Campaign Evolved. I'll be interested to hear if either of you guys have played that, because I have not gotten around to it yet. But the contractors were let go just after launch. It was a full-time staff were unaffected. But yeah, it's a bit... That is not a good look, to be honest. The people are just losing their jobs straight away. And the game had mixed early sales. It got an 81 on Metacritic, 82 on OpenCritic. And the new levels were criticized heavily for the writing, apparently, which is interesting. But yeah, have either of you guys played this? Matt, have you played the new Halo? You planning to? Got any thoughts on it?
I did play it.
Oh, nice. Did you finish it?
I did finish it.
Nice. Was it short then? Go on, tell us.
Yeah, it was about 11 hours or so for the whole thing.
Okay.
I didn't go for Lasso. I'm currently playing it through with friends on Legendary, and I didn't play the remix mode because, I don't know, I was just playing it as a break, and it was pretty fun. It's pretty solid. Yeah, like, I mean, I'm a little surprised it took so long to make, especially considering it doesn't have that many changes. But I would say the bigger miss here is it's just, I think it would have been much better received if it had some sort of multiplayer component that wasn't co-op. Co-op is great. It's awesome being able to play with friends. But even back in the day, Halo's appeal was Blood Gulch, LAN parties, messing around with friends, doing all that stuff. So I think there is a lot to like there, and I commend Halo Studios for trying. But it just continues this trend of modern writing just being god awful. It's so bad. Like I don't think Halo Studios is like the prime offender, but like I can't sit here and reasonably defend it and say it's good. It's just rough. Like they love to overspeak. They love to exposit dialogue at you. That was the biggest bummer for me, because I think Halo for a long time was the king of saying a lot without saying a lot. And a lot of times Campaign Evolved says a lot by saying a lot, and that's a bummer. I think the 85 is about right. It's probably what I would probably rate it a little bit lower, probably somewhere in the 70s, high 70s. But just depending on how much you love this franchise and how much you love certain elements, you may get different runway here. A couple things I do want to commend them on, though. The art direction in the back half when the Flood are introduced, fantastic. Like the horror vibes and the lighting and all that stuff, immaculate. I will say the outdoor environments, super pretty. I'm not surprised. Unreal Engine, it still looks great. And then the last thing that I'll give them props on is I do think they kept 99% of the spirit of the original during the gameplay. Cutscenes, like I mentioned, it can get kind of rough at times. But the actual gameplay moment to moment, playing through all of the missions, like the Maw, Halo, Assault on the Control Room, all that kind of stuff, feels just as good as it ever did. And I think if you wanted to show someone what Halo was like in a modern sense, this would be a good place to start. But I would also say, similar to my Black Flag Resync comparison, I don't think it replaces the original. I think it's simply a companion piece, an update to an older game, but the older game still has tons of merit that I would still recommend people go back and play.
I think I'd agree with a lot of what you said, only from what I've seen, though. Obviously I haven't played it, so I can't really give my 2 cents, but it looks good. But feedback I've heard echoes a lot of what you said to do with the criticisms and the general reception. I do want to play it, just putting my 2 cents in there. I decided to go for Beast of Reincarnation instead of Halo just because of timing. I knew I wouldn't be able to have time to play them both or spend the money on both of them. So I went for Beast. I did a little poll and everyone told me to go for Beast. And it sounds like I made the better decision. It sounds like Halo has better production quality, but the writing still falters, whereas Beast, brand new kind of enjoyable experience, which we'll get into later. Cal, have you played or got anything to say on Halo, what is it, Campaign Evolved?
Yeah, I don't really have anything to say on this one. This is sort of, I'm keeping out of this. I'm in the same boat. I've not played it. I would like, I've dabbled in Halo in the past. I played, like when I used to be a hardcore Xbox fanboy, and I played a little bit of 4. I played a bit of like ODST here and there, and I played a little bit of 5. It was like one of those franchises I never really got into just because I just didn't really try. I know I would get into it if I played it now, but I will definitely look at picking up probably, a physical copy, obviously, of it when I can get it a little bit cheaper, and probably when it's a little bit less crowded. But like right now, there's so much stuff coming out. Like at the end of this month, I've got Zero Company, and then I've got basically every single game in existence after that. And it's like I'm not spending £50 on a damn Halo game. Like not when I need to pay for every other game that's coming out. Like I'm spending hundreds in the next month or two. So it's just like I can't. I've got to pick and choose.
That's exactly why I didn't go for it this time. Went for Beast instead. This is just too much right now. I agree also with what you said, Matt, about the multiplayer options. I know that there are like split screen and you can play co-op through the campaign with your friends, but having a Halo game on a console, specifically PlayStation, for the first time ever, and not having a dedicated multiplayer component that the series is arguably best known for is a crazy choice to me. When I first saw that it was Campaign Evolved, I thought it was a weird to omit. Like Halo, to me anyway, when I was a kid, I grew up with PlayStation, so I never played Halo until much later on in life. Although I had a lot of friends that talked about it, and I've seen glimpses of it. It was a multiplayer game. I don't even think I knew it had a campaign until I played it for myself years later. So I always thought that having a remake of the original, the best thing to do would be to add in all of the multiplayer maps and stuff. So that's a bit of a missed opportunity, in my opinion. Matt, from paying it yourself, do you think there's any chance they will add that in, or is that that's it?
It seems to be that this package is done. This is what they shipped, and they seem to be happy with it, I guess. It's a product, you can buy it. Seems like all steam ahead on Halo 7 and a Halo 2 remake, which that better include PvP, because that's arguably like Halo 2's legacy, is that PvP and being able to play Xbox Live for the first time. So I really think if this had just included like the most bare bones, like Slayer, Capture the Flag, and like, I don't know, 8 maps, and they just said, here, have fun, here's the package, would have been totally fine. But I would even have said that over the new missions would have been even better, purely because the original, like I said, didn't have online multiplayer. So launching this one with online multiplayer would have been really cool. It's just like, it didn't have to be anything crazy, but just, as a subset to the package. Because as of right now, you're going to spend 11 hours on the campaign. And unless you're going through Remix or playing with skulls and stuff, it's a 11-hour campaign, and that's what you got.
Yeah. So, did you say that the original one? Oh, is it?
Yeah.
We'll get into that. We'll have to get into that. I want to hear more about that because I love Black Flag. But so did the original Halo Combat Evolved, it didn't have multiplayer?
Not online multiplayer. Xbox Live wasn't a thing back then. So
of course. Okay.
So Halo 2's like legacy is essentially being like the flagship Xbox Live title. And the first time that we got and so Combat Evolved was really known for specifically a map called Blood Gulch, where I don't know if you ever heard of Red versus Blue.
Yes. Yeah. It's so on Netflix.
It's all I know.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. It's like a YouTube show, but I'm pretty sure it was on Netflix.
Yeah, I remember watching it when I was young on YouTube. That was my whole into Halo.
Yeah, so
mine was RB and the Chief. That's
yes. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to cut you off, mate.
That's okay. Red versus Blue was set on the map Blood Gulch, and then they would film it, with their stupid little cuts and their heads moving up and down and whatnot. but for someone to say that the original did not have PvP is just false. It did. It just didn't have online PvP. So I think it would have been a nice update to give the new game.
Which I think, to be fair, is even more of a reason to have it. Like,
right?
If it's not, you haven't got to do servers or anything. You can just have it as like local co-op or like, you've already got the co-op stuff there already in the game. So why not just have that?
And that's what
it's not that much extra work.
That's what I kind of mean by saying it feels like an incomplete product. Like, it's not bad. It's just like, it feels like it's missing something. Some people are probably going to say it's missing the soul of the original. I don't really think that's true.
Soulless, soulless.
Yeah. I just don't think it's entirely finished for a number of other reasons. But one of the main things I could point to is that if it just simply had like a simple online multiplayer with, a couple maps, a little bit of customization, couple unlocks, couple modes, I guarantee it would have been more well received. The Halo community is very starved for online content at this point after Infinite, and to hold them over to Halo 7 or Halo 2 Remake would have been a nice touch, I think.
To be fair, my question was always like, I remember it was rumored a lot when Xbox started porting everything over to PlayStation, and I think to me it's a much more reason to buy it than Halo Campaign Evolved, but porting Master Chief Collection over,
that would have made a lot more sense.
I always assumed I would have easily bought that day one, even if it was like £70, because it's like I then get to experience every single Halo game and the multiplayer games, and I sort of think like that seems like a no-brainer. But like this, I'm spending £50, how much it is for just Halo 1. I don't really want to do that. I'd rather spend £50 and then get all the Halos. It may not be as high graphical and whatnot, but I can experience it all and then go, oh, I really like that. I will then buy the remake and experience it again in like the new quality. So I don't know whether that just got cancelled, because it was always rumored, but like if they ever decide to do it again, I'd love that. And I'd love them to actually release that.
That brings me back to one of my favorite topics Matt will tell you for our podcast, which is what the fuck is Xbox doing with
it? Really is Jay's topic of the week.
But I end up talking about it every week because I just don't understand what are you guys doing. Because like you guys said, Campaign Evolved is all well and good, but that's not getting anybody into Halo, really. Remaking the first game with none of its multiplayer components, really weird move. It looks good, and I will be picking it up at some point. I'll probably wait until it goes on some sort of sale or whatever and just pick it up a little bit cheaper.
It's not a day one must buy.
It's not a day one must buy, and just hearing from everybody is a bit of a okay, it's here kind of thing. Whereas a lot of people, like you guys have said, thought, where's the Master Chief Collection? Me, I might be the only person, but also I really enjoyed, because when I first got my Xbox Series S back in 2022, I think it was. I can't remember exactly. Maybe 2022, something like that. I played everything Xbox exclusive because I'd never owned an Xbox before, so I played all of the Halos, Sunset Overdrive, everything I could, pretty much back to back. It was a great couple weeks, and this was when I was still a student and stuff, so I had time to really do that. So I enjoyed doing all of that, and I really enjoyed playing Halo Infinite online when it first came out as well. I thought that was that was the first time I played Halo online properly, because I kind of ignored the online in the Master Chief collection. But I always wondered, I thought, okay, won't they drop the Master Chief collection and or Halo Infinite next? But it seems like they've completely reneged on this. I don't know if we'll get any more Xbox exclusives on PlayStation now, because I was assuming after Gears of War Reloaded that we'd get E-Day as a day one on PlayStation, but that's also not happening. Really confusing. I feel like they could have done this so much better. I'm still holding out hope that we'll get more Xbox stuff on PlayStation, but I really don't know what they're doing, and I don't know what their plans are for this Xbox Helix either. They'd be really smart at this point to maybe go for a physical release, just to kind of get one in on Sony's choice to not do physical, but I doubt they'll do that as well, because they won't make as much money off of it as it's probably not worth. But yeah, interesting. Anything more on Halo, guys, before we move on?
I don't have much to say, really.
Yeah, same here. I'm good.
Okay, cool. So this is a topic I'm sure we're all really interested to say. A lot of people have probably seen, but long-time id Software developer, I think his name is Chris Hayes. He worked on Doom Eternal and The Dark Ages. He recently went on to Well Played podcast and made some quite like wild criticisms to Xbox and Microsoft. And I don't mean wild as in they're not correct takes, very valid takes, but it's just crazy that an employee would come out and slag off a company quite so, ruthlessly. But he said, not the same id we're half the same id. So the entire departments have been gutted. He reckons that making big AAA games like they did before is now impossible. The studio has been given talking points on what they can and can't say by, obviously, Microsoft's execs. And they're strongly criticizing Game Pass as it cannibalized sales, which is something a lot of people have mentioned for a long time. And I've always wondered how actual devs feel. So it's kind of nice to see that being, highlighted, because it completely does change the business model. And apparently Xbox fundamentally doesn't understand art, games, or what goes into making them. And without Phil Spencer there to kind of be the face, that's kind of been evident for a long time. I think Phil was the only thing that kind of made us feel like they did have an understanding, because he seemed to have a personal, deep understanding and appreciation. But yeah, Xbox have seemed, but then I could say Xbox, but all of the kind of big publishers have seemed to be out of the loop or completely distanced from their audience. But yeah, id Software devs teams are really not happy with what's happened. And I think Matt, we did mention this, I think maybe the last time Fume was on, when this was all up in the air, and we had a good conversation about that. So if you want to kick off on that, and then I'll hand over to Cal for his impressions.
Yeah, specifically id, I think, is the interesting talking point, because we had brought up that, we could see why the other studios were, under the bullseye from Xbox. But when the id Software layoffs came out, we all said, like, what? Like, they've, like, every single one of their games is, like, praised to heaven and back. Like, they're a pillar of gaming. Doom can run on anything. The Doom reboot trilogy is, like, one of the greatest trilogies to come out since 2016. And they come out with a game or some sort of, like, sizable expansion, it seems like, every 2 years. But this is really eye-opening, because often developers just don't, and people in general, which I totally get, don't really ever speak their mind, especially when you're working for a corporation like Microsoft. Damn, this boy comes out and he's like, dude, I know you're laughing, but like he was on a warpath. Like, I mean, and he's right, it's like, and I think that the hardest part to listen to was him saying, he even minced his words a little bit when he said, they've told us to say we're around the same size as we were when we made 2016. And he said, there's a reason we said around the same size. We are smaller. And, talking about how they've gutted entire departments. So that's huge too, right? Like, you could have the same amount of developers, but institutional knowledge, or certain people are always going to be better at certain things than others. And we saw that the people who were laid off were people who have been at id for a long time. I mean, 20 plus years, who are no longer there. And it was really emotional, like watching someone basically say, like, the company that I have loved, worked for, my friends, probably people that he considers like almost as close as family, I would assume, just based off the way that he was talking about it, to lose their jobs and then also be expected to make something as equally as great as they've made before is just, I just don't understand. id Software is an incredible studio. They've made incredible games for years and years and years. And there's so much more that studio had to give that I'm afraid we'll just never see. But I'm glad at least we were able to see one of them say what we all thought was bullshit, actually call it bullshit. Call a spade a spade. And I think we need more of that, like, these developers, this is their livelihood, and they should be able to say when they feel that their higher ups are making big mistakes, especially someone who's as high up in id as he appears to be. Just wild. I never thought I'd see the day that someone would come on a podcast and say something like that.
I rate him for it. I really do. I'm glad to see them being honest, because like he explained, it was massively downplayed. And even when we discussed it before, we all weren't really sure how the studio was honestly feeling about it. But who was it, you, Matt, that turned around and said, like, imagine being the person that finds out, like, you've got a team of, I think you said you've got a team of 10 people, and it's like now it's going to get cut down to 5. That's exactly the kind of thing I'm coming into my head, is that he obviously found out about that, had this interview, and was like, yeah, I'm going to be fucking honest, this is bullshit, which it is, to be honest.
It's like, and like, as your games are successful, people don't want you to go back. Like, if you've made a good game, they don't want you to like do the thing that you did 10 years ago. They want you to do the thing that you're going to do 3 years from now. And you can't do that with a smaller studio. Like, it's like you build on what you made, not going back is a last resort. It is not a future plan. And like, I don't know where it goes from here. Like, I really hope they come out with something new, because they rock. And FPS games are not, the FPS genre will not be the same without id Software.
I need to go and buy Doom for PS5 and get that DLC, actually. Cal, are you a big Doom fan? You played all the Dooms, and what do you think of what Chris has to say from id Software?
Yeah, I'm like in the same boat. They're never like they're not like my like favorite developer of all time, just because it's one of those things like I was never really in that space. But it's sort of like you have to appreciate the fact that they, like a lot of other developers, they changed gaming forever. Like with a lot of their games, like they are like the daddies of a lot of genres of the games in general. And so it's sort of like you would like to think that you just get a little bit of leeway for that simple fact, but it's just like I can't fault him for what he said, because I think everything he said is absolutely right. I'm very critical of these big companies because they don't fundamentally understand art whatsoever, because something made specifically for profit can't be art, in my view. You have to have some passion behind that. And so when you're just doing things just to make just shareholders happy, that's not what you should be doing. You should be doing something that makes the people buying your game, but also more importantly, the people making the games happy. Because if they think the game's shit, they're not going to want to they're not going to want to release it. But like I loved, I've not played too much of the original, but I adore Doom 2016. I think it's one of the best shooters I've ever played. I adore Doom Eternal. I also think that's one of the greatest shooters I've ever played. I can't wait to finally get around to Doom the Dark Ages. I've been putting off a little bit. I've really, really can't wait to play. It looks amazing. But like, I hope they get to do more. But it's like, you get asked to make something bigger than Doom, but you've got half the people who made Doom working for you. It's like you can't do that. Like, unless you want to take shortcuts and then make a release a worse game. I get that, like, the economy sucks at the moment and you can't afford to hire all these people, but you can't expect that they're going to release the same product, because they can't. Part of me thinks that he has something else lined up. Maybe he's starting a new studio or he's joining a new studio, because this sort of conversation seems like a guy that's at the end, like he's leaving. Like, I don't think you would say these kind of things knowing that you're still going to be at the company for the next 6 months. I think you'll have an announcement that he's moved with other studios, and I think that's the best route. I think as much as mentioned it a little bit with BioWare, but I think as much as I love these studios, they're studios in name only now. Like, a lot of the people who actually made the games aren't there anymore. And it's sort of like, do you just sort of say goodbye to the name and then play what the actual people who made those games are working on now? You've got can't think of it now, but you have like Assassin's Creed and stuff, and then like the people who made those games are then working on new franchises, and then you sort of think they're probably closer to what a new Assassin's Creed game would be, because they're the people who made that franchise, not just because they've got the franchise IP on there. But I think it's a tough one, but I do think, fuck Microsoft and all the big corporations who, want to make loads of money but aren't willing to spend money on it. And also the companies who think we have to spend money to get a good game out of it. But, it's the economy and it's all this. It sucks. It all sucks.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. It's sad to see. And it just shows the kind of state that things are in, where they think they can reduce something to less than half of what it was and then expect the same or better results. It really doesn't make sense. And it kind of also feels like anybody with half a brain, and I guess that's what we're kind of talking around, it almost feels as if we could even look at it like this, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. We've all kind of said that it sounds like this guy is done with Xbox and he's probably got something like, I wouldn't be surprised unless he knows that they can't really fire him, whatever. But it could, I forgot what my bloody point was, mate. Completely gone out of my head. Sorry. Either way, go on.
I do think, like, I don't know if this is what you were about to say, but like, we sort of see a lot more nowadays of people leaving these big companies and then starting their own ventures and stuff. Sometimes they succeed, sometimes they don't. Sometimes we get a Callisto Protocol that's just, you know, this is the guy that made Dead Space, and you play it and it sucks. but then you get a lot of games like, fucking hell, we had Expedition 33. Like, some people want to say it's not as good as it is. I think it's incredible, but it's like, these are ex-Ubisoft people that made something they were actually passionate about.
Yeah.
There was another game from last year, I believe, there was also ex-Ubisoft people that everyone said was really good. I can't remember what it was, and it was sort of like, oh, maybe Ubisoft just should trust the people making these games.
Got rid of all of their good developers, it sounds like.
That's what I mean. I need to look it up, because it's like, I think, to be fair, I look it up, there's like people from like, they worked on like Stray, Sifu. Obviously, there's the new Amsterdam one. I think the guy who made Assassin's Creed is now working on, which looks okay. But it's like, I mean, also like Dispatch, that was all ex-Telltale games, and people loved that game because people who actually made it were actually passionate about it. And I don't think that, you know, these studios aren't. It's hard to make a studio and then release a game that costs so much money. But I think when they do, you can see just how much more passion is going into it, and just how much of that passion being cut off by management. I think Ubisoft has some of the best developers in the world, but they're just not letting them do what they should be doing.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like the passion is kind of leaving the space, and that bro, I've remembered now. You've reminded me of what my point was. So, you know, we were all kind of saying, you know, it looks like this Chris is leaving, or he's got something else lined up. It could also be that he sees the writing on the wall even more clearer than we do. Because the other thing that's being hinted at is id being put out to pasture, for lack of a better term? Like, is this Xbox can't be that stupid that they think that they can get an increased return on investment by diminishing their investment. You know, that even basic business, they know, anybody business minded understands that the way things go is that you seek success, you invest more for better dividends, right? So if they've now cut things down, maybe they are very politely or in a nice kind of way just killing it off, you know, slowly but surely cutting it down, seeing what they put out. They know that they're not supporting them the way they used to, so they know that their product, so slowly but surely it looks like it is going to be phased out. And I wonder if Chris has gotten like caught wind of that much like we have, and he's like, yeah, well, you're killing us over anyway, so I'm going to be honest and fuck you guys, this is wrong and this is what's happening. And then maybe does also have, you know, his next ship ready to sail, because that's another thing that I think a lot of people forget. You don't have a pedigree like what id has, or if you're like a high exec at quite a successful studio like that, of course if Xbox let him go, there'll be all kinds of studios, publishers knocking on his door because he's got that pedigree. Then they can use the Doom IP to promote whatever their upcoming games are, even if they don't have the actual intellectual property. So that's my kind of theory, is that he knows that it is on its last legs, and this was his kind of strike back at them. And then just another point I was going to say to do with what you said, Cal, it's like the passion does feel like it's leaving the video game industry, and I think is becoming more and more clear. But then the brighter side of that, and this is another thing that Matt will tell you, I've said quite a few times, is like, or we've all agreed really, indie looks like the brighter future for gaming. So I do think that whilst big companies are making it clearer and clearer that, you know, these big event games and these big passion projects, these art is being turned into products. Yeah. So they're not, it's not all about art anymore. It's not about passion. It's about products and sales. But indie game devs, even though I'm sure they appreciate the success and any financial return they can get, they're first and foremost passion projects. And I'll put a world, it sounds like a weird example, but it's been so huge.
I think you're right with, especially with Power. I'd say Power, I think like it's a good example.
Yeah, because it's passion project, but it's made so much money, and it shows not only is there people willing to make these games, but there are a huge audience that's willing to pay for them. So I think we will notice going forward, if these big companies continue to make the kind of decisions they are to keep promoting money and profit over passion and making things that people actually love and are invested in, then the indie scene will grow, because everyone and their nan is going to be lining up for whatever Sandfall Interactive does next. And what else is good? Like Power World, I'm sure whatever they do next, they're going to have a solid audience. There's so many great indie games now that have reached a level of commercial success that was once upon a time like not even feasible, but because of the internet and because of loads of people that now push indie products/projects, I think we could see, and people vote with their wallet, we could see a shift towards a more, a brighter future for gaming, and that would be indie. So hopefully id, or at least Chris himself, leaves Xbox and makes the next Doom into whatever they actually want it to be, and they get the support to do that, rather than having to kind of, cater to the growingly unfair and like soulless.
Yeah, I guess it's sort of like the idea that there's like a video game crash incoming. Like,
yeah,
all these things just aren't feasible. We can't keep spending so much money on whatever and then not paying to make an actual worthwhile game. And it's like people aren't buying them because people are going to go to indie. It's like games are costing too much. I can easily sit and play my backlog until the industry figures itself out. Like, what would happen, I don't know, but I think there is going to be something that changes in the future. There'll be some sort of snap where people realize that this just isn't feasible. Like, you've got developers talking out about it. Like, we can't keep going on like this.
No. And I think as much as it seems like a shift that is yet to happen, I think because the discussion is happening and we're seeing the kind of fallout of the decisions that were made. Me and Matt had a really interesting conversation. I think it was on our last podcast where you actually educated me, Matt, about how these companies got a lot of money post the lockdown and all of the influx, and how their kind of incentive was to just spend that money. And now that these things are very clear to the consumer, I think that there is a cultural shift going on right now that is already happening. I don't think it's a matter of will it happen. I think it is happening. I think we're watching the crash happen because there's too many games for consumers to keep up with. There's too many poor business practices that are rubbing a lot of people the wrong way. So I do think that things will see the biggest shift probably in console sales for next generation. That's when it will become most clear. Matt, have you got anything else you wanted to throw into this topic? I feel like we've just been talking and you haven't heard your voice in a while.
No. Yeah. Just makes me want to go play some more Doom and like remember how good it was. So I really do love those games. 2016 is in my top 10 of all time. I think it's probably the best FPS game for me ever made. It's that good.
So good.
It's so good. But yeah, hoping for the best for id. Thanks for saying what we were all thinking, Chris, and commend you for having the guts to go out and speak up for your fellow developers.
Definitely. I hope this sparks more developers to like talk out like this.
Mm-hmm. I think we might see it more, just like you guys said. A lot of them also know that their careers are not over just because if they speak out against one publisher, like they've probably got a lot of, well, Chris himself probably got a lot of pedigree that he can sit on. He knows his private finances are probably quite secure in that degree. They've got their skills to fall back on at the end of the day. I just want to pause real quick, guys. Matt, you can see what we've got left to discuss. I feel like we're going on nearly 3 hours now. Is there anything you think you wanted to cut? Should we cut straight to what we've been playing? Anything that you want to talk about?
That's a good question.
The game update stuff, I don't have too much.
If Fume were here, we could talk about Tokon, but that's okay. We can. Why don't we just go to what we've been playing? I feel like it's been like almost 3 weeks since our last podcast. So we've got a lot to catch up on.
True.
Yeah.
Okay then. All right then. Well, we'll move on to what we've been playing then. Cal, do you want to kick us off with what you've been playing?
Do I talk about the good games or the bad game, or the one that's like going to be the easiest game for you guys to clip farm?
You can talk about anything in whatever order you want. Like it's completely up to you.
We'll leave the big catch till later. But I think the main thing, I've not really played too much recently, but I think the main thing I've been playing, as I mentioned off the podcast, is I've been getting into the GTA series, playing them for the first time. As much as I'd love to play the first two, I've just not been able to. And just sort of experiencing these games that everyone say are classics for the first time. The main one I've been playing, like I said, I played GTA 3. I think it's okay. It's aged in some areas, but I think for the most part, it's a great game. I played Vice City, which I think is pretty comfortably probably one of my favorite games ever made now. It is just incredible. And then I kept saying, oh, there's no way you can top this. And then everyone's like, oh, no, they do. And I was like, no. And then I started playing San Andreas and they do top it. It's just incredible. This is the game I've been playing. I keep looking at it, like I've got it on like my PlayStation home screen right now, and I keep thinking like I can't wait to like log off and keep playing more of it. I'm so into it. It is just like an incredible open world. There's so many interesting things. Like there's so many things to do. There's like so many of these cool systems, like your weight and like getting fat from eating food and like shooting SMGs, and then you can get better at shooting SMGs and like riding bikes and get better at riding bikes. There's so much cool stuff about like I think like once I've done replaying this, like for playing this whole series for the first time, I'm just going to come back to this and like just spend hundreds of hours just running around doing stuff. Like it's just so fascinating. Like, because I assume like me talking about San Andreas is one of the things where like everyone's like, okay, yeah, no, I've played this before. Like I've experienced this already. So like it is pretty interesting. Like I don't know what happens in it. Like I'm going fairly fully fresh. I've never experienced GTA stories at all. Like I enjoyed the Vice City story. Like I'm loving the San Andreas story. It's so good. And yeah, like it's just fantastic. I just have praise for it. Like I don't really have any criticisms for this game.
You know, it's so nice to hear such a genuine enthusiasm for such an arguably dated game at this point, but it just shows how, and again, comes back to what we were saying about these things that come across as an event thing, just something that everybody loves to talk about. But when you actually sink your teeth into it, it's like there's a reason why San Andreas and like just commercially acclaimed games to date, because it does have that special sauce. And it's funny because back when I was a kid, and I originally played these games, obviously, like I said, when I was like 8 until I'm about 10 or whatever, just at my cousin's house. I didn't even realize all of these systems and stuff you're talking about. I didn't even have any inkling of, because I was a child that just wanted to run around and hit people with a baseball bat that I had and use the cheats that I had. But it's just funny that it's got that completely separate appeal, so that if you do want to dig into the meat and bones of the game and the kind of RPG-esque stat systems to do with the body weight gain and all the like getting better at different like skills or gameplay mechanics just through use, this was like a completely like a very new kind of concept for that type of game when it released. And I don't think anyone's ever done it quite the way since. Even GTA, following GTA games, didn't do the same as what they did in San Andreas. I really hope, I've heard rumors that they will have that same kind of weight system in GTA 6. And I hope they do put more of those. I don't even know if RPG probably isn't the right term to use, but life sim mechanics, I think, work really well in that kind of sandbox once they're done properly. So I do hope to see more of that. But man, I just love hearing you glaze San Andreas in 2000.
It is, I've got to glaze this game. Like it is really like, it will probably end up, I would probably say, depending on how, because like things I've heard about GTA 4, I don't think it's got the systems, but I think it's got like the story and the writing that I know for me is what I really I do look for. So I do think GTA 4 might top it for me, but I do think like San Andreas is probably going to be up there as one of my favorite games ever made. Like this is just incredible. I think like I get like for some people it's harder to play older games, but like I think it just plays fantastically. I think the shooting feels the best out of all these games. Like everything just feels great. Like I just like, you know, this the system. I just love like every so often it'll pop up saying like my fat's going down. So I think, oh, I'm getting hungry. I need to go eat something. And so I just like go to the nearest like burger shop and buy some food. And it's just like, it just feels like I'm actually like in a living world that actually could exist. That I don't think a lot of games focus on like the really small details, but don't really focus on the stuff that actually make you feel like you're in the world. And I think San Andreas does that just the best.
got that inertia, man. It's really good. Another game series that really nails that and really impressed me is Kingdom Come Deliverance games. If you haven't played that,
I can't wait to play them.
So good, so good. What have you been playing? Anything else or?
I started yesterday. I'd say this is sort of a brief one. I started yesterday playing, which will likely be more of one we play for a lot longer. I started playing Diablo 3 with my girlfriend. We dabbled in co-op games here and there. Like since we started dating, I've introduced us like to Minecraft. I think Minecraft's like a really good like first game to really get into games. It's so easy to get older now and just get into it. And then we'll play like we played the entirety of like Power Wash Simulator 2 because I had local co-op. And so I keep thinking like, oh, I want to play more. But I sort of thought I was like, I really want to replay Diablo. But like Diablo 3's got local co-op. You know what? I'm going to try it with that. So like last night we started it and I've run in a Necromancer because I've not played it before. And it was like getting towards the end, I think, oh, I've got to call it a night. Like we've played it for about an hour or two. Like we'll call it a night. She's like, oh, can we play a little bit more? Can we play a little more? I'm really enjoying this. And like this morning, I was like, "Do you want?" This morning, I was like, "Do you want to play some more of it?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, we need to play more of it." So I was like, "Oh." But I'm sat there thinking like I've made a monster because I'm like, we're gonna get to the end of it. I said to her like, "Oh," I even said to her like, "Oh, do you want to run hardcore characters at some point?" She was like, oh, "Maybe we've not died yet." And I was like, "Okay, we'll have to run hardcore." And then it's like, "Oh, I've not played Diablo 4," and it's like maybe we'll play Diablo 4. So it's like I'm worrying that I've made a monster.
Wow, you should be proud.
The loot.
Was your girlfriend already a gamer or?
Not particularly. The sort of the most they sort of play would be like, from what he told me, is like a little bit of Call of Duty, like playing like against bots and stuff in the past, and then they play like some like Mario Kart or Overcooked on the Switch, but nothing really. And that was like one where our first anniversary we went to like a caravan and I bought my, because it was the same time that Silent Hill 2 came out, so I bought my PlayStation down with me, and then we went to a charity shop and saw a copy of Overcooked, and so I thought, oh, you played that? I've never played it. Let's play it together. Play it together. Worst decision of my life. She's literally a living Gordon Ramsay. It's abusive.
Is it shit?
Yes, exactly. Like I'll mess up a little bit. I go a little bit slow, and I'm getting screamed at. Yeah, like I'll do some around. It's like, you an idiot sandwich. And it's like, hey, I'm trying to play the best I can. It's like, and man, like we planned them on my account within about like a day and a bit of playing it. And I was like, oh, most people found that really hard and it was really easy. And she was like, yeah, because I'm really good at it. And I was like, okay, whatever.
My girlfriend won't play Overcooked ever again. Apparently, I was not fun.
Are you that person?
I didn't think I was that person, but apparently, like, it's not even
no
what
one ever
I say.
Thinks they are.
Yeah, my girlfriend would say it's not even like I might yell in the heat of things like get the things burning, whatever, because Overcooked is crazy. But apparently, it's just the looks of pure disdain, and so sometimes she doesn't even want to play with me because I've been playing games since I was little. My girlfriend, the most she ever did was play DS when she was a little like young, but since we've met, everything she's played has been kind of by my suggestion or me getting her more into it. Not quite as game savvy as I am, and it's apparently like in the heat of it, even she does sometimes don't even want to play games in front of me because she'll look and out of the corner of her eye just see me like roll my eyes or like hold my head in my hands because I'm just like, how are you not getting this? Like I thought I was quite good, and she said early on I was, but I think my expectations of her are so high now because she beat Silksong, and that's hard. So when I watch her play something like Spider-Man and she's struggling, I'm like, but this is not the same person that beats her. Where's the person?
You can't. See, I don't know if this is the same for Matt. I don't know whether you have the same sort of like getting people into getting like your partner into games, or whether that's something you guys dabble in at all.
Matt, what are you playing at the moment? Have you managed to get your partner into any games?
She and I have been playing Siberia, and
I've heard about that.
That's a deep ass cut. If anybody gets that, you're a real gamer. All right.
I've never played it.
I've been meaning to play that for ages. It's on my list for a long time.
It looks a bit to me.
It's a point and click puzzle game. So like
my
definitely,
kind of thing.
It's like it's very short. It's like 7 hours, so doesn't overstay his welcome. But it's a game from her childhood that she wanted to show me, so we got that, and then we just finished Sackboy's Big Adventure. I think is what it's called, right?
Is that good?
An underrated platform,
dude,
and I
really good.
I bought it the day it came out, and I never played. I played like
super
a couple of hours of it. I think that's one I might I might say they will play together local co-op then.
That platinum is brutal.
I'm not going for that platinum.
See, I can't believe that because everyone told me that about Xtra, but I believe they were all
no.
Process. That was so easy.
You know, Xtra tough levels, they're tough, but once you do them about like 10 to 20 times, you definitely get it's Sackboy's on a different level.
Yeah.
Sackboy's way harder than Xtra bot.
I love a hard platform, so I'm looking forward.
There was something else we
I might want to do so.
And last year for my birthday, she had bought me the Steelbook edition of Expedition 33. So we're playing through that together.
Oh,
nice. Is your girlfriend a gamer as well? Are you married yet, Matt? Or are you
soon? Couple months.
It's fiance, right?
Yeah, couple months.
Yes.
No, not even. Less than 60 days.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Man, it's getting there. I'm happy for you, though. I look forward to hearing all about it. Did you both come together as gamers, or did you kind of influence one to the other?
Obviously, I play a crap ton of video games, but her dad is a pretty big gamer, and so she grew up around gaming, but she didn't play that many games. And then I was like, we should play games. And she was like, okay, I'm down. And now she plays more.
Nice.
But yeah, we try and go through co-op games together. So that's been fun. What have I been playing? Oh, God of War Ragnarok. That's basically been it. Other than I mentioned Halo Campaign Evolved. I'm enjoying Ragnarok. I would say on the gameplay front, similar to other PlayStation 5 sequels, it's definitely better than 2018. There's more options.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, way more combos, way more enemy variety, level design is better, like all of that stuff mechanically, like it's just better. But I don't know what PlayStation did, but I feel like they fired all of their writers when the PlayStation 5 generation started because all of their it's not that I don't like it. I do. I actually think all of the plot threads very similar to Spider-Man, very similar to The Last of Us Part 2. Like a lot of like in a vacuum, if I told you this segment, you'd be like, that sounds really great. And I'd be like, it was. And then the pacing just demolishes it instantly. Like there's I need to try and figure out a way to explain this without spoiling it. But basically, there will be like a section where it's focusing on Atreus' story. And you're like, oh, this is so good. Tell me more. I can't wait for the next thing. And then it'll be like, Kratos, go do this. And I'm like, no, like, tell me more about Atreus. Like, you had me. And then,
the only one that wanted to hear more of Atreus from what X was saying about Atreus, man.
I actually really like the Atreus section.
I agree with them.
Yeah,
I liked it.
I thought it was a great story. I think Atreus' story was a lot more interesting than a lot of Kratos' stuff.
I think the genius of God of War 2018, very similar to The Last of Us Part 1, very similar to Spider-Man 2018. All right, 2018. Spider-Man 1. Yeah. The genius of those games is they are hyper-focused on a story, and they tell it phenomenally well. And all of these PS5 games do this thing where they try and do too much. And it's like, you don't have to do that. You had me. Like if this game was razor sharp focused on Atreus' story front to back, and it was just Kratos trying to help Atreus find who he is and what his destiny is. Oh my gosh, like genuine bona fide masterpiece. Totally could be. I haven't finished yet. So we'll see. But when I'm playing it, it's really frustrating because it's like Freya, Kratos, Atreus, the dwarves, Odin, Thor, like this and this and this and this and this. And it's like, can we just like focus in on one thing? Very similar to The Last of Us Part 2, where it's like Ellie, Abby, Joel, like it's too much. Spider-Man 2, it's Venom, it's Kraven, it's Miles, it's like all of this stuff. It's just too much. And that's like my major problem is like, I have to take breaks after every story segment because I know that if I keep playing, it's going to piss me off that it just like swapped the pacing, and I'm going to be like, man, but I wanted more of that thing. So then I come back, like a day later, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to play this section and then this section. But I will say the game is phenomenally fun to play. Like all the new weapons, the new enemies, all that stuff is great. The other thing that I've been playing is a game called War Dogs. So for all of my FPS, for all of my FPS fans out there, I'm 99% sure I'm allowed to talk about it. I just can't share clips. But I am a part of the alpha playtest. It's a large-scale FPS shooter similar to Battlefield, Arma, Hell Let Loose. I would say it has some stuff in there. I've been tracking this game for about a year and a half. The main hooks it features a persistent cash system. So how this works is every action you take in game rewards you with cash. So it's a king of the hill type mode. So if your team has the most players in the zone, you score points. But every action you take in the game rewards you with cash. So getting kills, resupplying teammates, healing teammates, reviving teammates, driving teammates around, like all of that stuff. And then you use that stuff every life to buy new equipment. And then you go back and you do it again, right? But the cool part is at the end of the match, your money carries over to the next match. And then you can use that stuff to buy cosmetics, or you can use that stuff to like give your team an edge starting the next match, all that kind of stuff. And I finally got to play it, and dude, they got something special here. It's not coming to consoles yet, but the dev team has said that if it is successful enough on PC, they would really love to bring it to consoles. And I will say, as a tac shooter on controller, which is what I play on, it feels really great to play. The community has been super fun to play with. The like proximity chat, super funny. The mechanics feel really good, really well realized. It's an Unreal Engine 5 game, and it runs insanely good on my PC. Like super, super good. So optimization is great. And that like sucked up like 11 hours of playtime yesterday for me. Like, it was crazy. It was so fun. So I'm probably going to play that this weekend while the alpha playtest is going on, and then I'll be back to Ragnarok. And I should have finished the main story by the time we have the next podcast.
Nice. War Dogs. I'm going to have to look into that. This is the first time hearing of that. So just War Dogs and Siberia, God of War, Ragnarok for you, Matt.
And Campaign Evolved.
And obviously Campaign Evolved, yep. Okay.
Yeah. How about you, Jay?
What have I been working on? Let me see. So last time, do you remember what I was playing last time, Matt?
You had just finished Cyberpunk.
I just finished the campaign.
Yes.
Okay. So since then, and Assassin's Creed Resynced Platinum, right?
Yes, that as well.
Yeah. Okay. So those are the ones I was doing. So since then, I completed my platinum run for Cyberpunk 2027. I don't need to tell anybody. So good. Surprisingly, like for how huge that game is, it's quite an achievable platinum. It did take me about 100 hours, I think it was.
Yeah, that's about right.
It wasn't like a short platinum. And the last trophy I got, which was you have to level up a specific skill to the highest level. I'd put all of my like gameplay was into the headhunting, so that's the one I'd progressed the most. So I just focused on that, which is just headshots and stealth kills with a pistol and all this. That took the longest, man. There's not even enough content in the game to get you to that level. I ended up just going around and just killing random NPCs, like not NPCs, but like random enemies around the map in order to get that. But apart from that, the whole experience platinum in that game was so much fun. So I'm really proud to have that platinum. I'm glad I put the time in. Getting all the different endings, seeing all the different endings was great. Like, it's got so much depth to it, that game. It is really.
Did you play Phantom Liberty?
Yeah. So I played Phantom Liberty. I needed the content in that to help me boost these stats anyway. So I played through that. I did the ending and got the trophy for that, even though separate, but I got the alternate ending. I think the first time I played Phantom Liberty, because I played Cyberpunk originally back on Xbox, back after Edge Runners came out and it got its kind of 2.0 update. I played it then. And obviously Phantom Liberty. And I think I sided with, what's her name? Songbird. And I saw that ending, although I can't really remember what happened. I don't think it was a particularly good ending. And then, so this time I went with Reed's ending. Well,
none of those endings are good.
Are they not? Well, the only ending I saw that was any good was the one at Panam's ending. Where
I would say you could consider that a semi-happy ending. That's fair.
They're all pretty sad. The ones I played, all the others were like, I was going to write a tweet about it, but I didn't want to spoil too much, so I didn't bother. But my kind of thought process was like, it's just varying different degrees of tragedy.
Yep.
It's like, it's all bittersweet. It's all pretty sad. The only one that made me feel somewhat good or positive about these prospects was the Aldecaldos one, where there was still some hope that they might find something out there. But yeah, so it was nice experiencing all those endings and seeing the stuff. The Reed ending, I'm not going to spoil too much, but that's probably arguably
my favorite ending of the
game. It's like, I didn't like it at all. I didn't like it. I get it. I didn't dislike it as an ending in terms of like the value it adds, but the actual prospects of it.
Oh, terrible. But I love that ending to death. Oh, I adore it. That was the first one that I got, and I was, I'm like, this is my canon ending for sure.
Is it?
Yeah.
Fair. I don't want to get into too much spoiler talk for anyone that hasn't played through Cyberpunk.
Play Cyberpunk, please. Please.
It is
incredible. Only
incredible.
other ending that was comparable in terms of that is the Arasaka ending.
Oh, it's so bad.
That one was probably the most sad. Yeah, there was nothing good about the way that ended. So the Arasaka and the Reed ending, two of the worst in my opinion. They all kind of blended in my head a bit because I was getting the trophies. I was like reloading saves one after the other for like 3 hours. So, but yeah, the Johnny one was interesting.
I like that one
to be
too.
quite interesting. Yeah, and what was the other one? There was another one. I don't remember.
Shoot.
There was like 5 or 6 altogether with the DLC endings included. 7 maybe.
I believe it's 5. So you have the tower ending where you side with Reed. You have the Johnny ending. You have the Aldecaldos ending, and you have there's one more.
Arasaka ending.
Arasaka. I believe that's all of them now.
I think that's all of them.
Is it? That's only 4 we've said there. Thought there was more. Anyway, I'm obviously making up my own endings now because I spent too long playing through all of that stuff. But yeah, I like the Aldecaldos.
Oh, the space ending.
What? Is that which? Yes. The going out with a bang. Yeah. That's the one I was thinking of. That's like if you did everything with Johnny and then kind of didn't do that last decision, then you get this kind of that one. Found that one to be quite interesting. One of the more positive ones, in my opinion, actually, which says a lot considering what it kind of implies.
There is a couple secret endings that are pretty wild. I don't know if you saw those.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't like what. Can you give me a hint to see if I did come across anything?
They're like solo endings. So you don't have anybody like go to the ending with. You know what I'm talking?
No, I think I only went for the ones that had trophies then. I didn't realize there were secret ones. Kyle, did you see any of these secret endings?
I think I'm in the same boat as you. I only played it at launch. I've not played it since then.
Oh,
I'm really mean to. I bought the DLC and everything. I can't wait to play again.
Go back to Okay, let's not ruin it for you. Sorry, man.
No, I'm not going to remember any of this, so it's fine. But I've been waiting until they stop adding stuff, which I think they have stopped adding stuff to get like the full experience of it all. But yeah, like I think I'm in the same boat. I only really did the ones that were related to trophies, and then after that, I sort of left it. Like anything else was extra.
Yeah, fair enough. I'd say wait until after Edge Runner Season 2 if you're wanting for all the content, because even though I think they've officially announced there's not more content, I have a feeling
they'll probably add a few things for that. Yeah,
the Edge Runners. Yeah, even if it's just a little Easter egg, that would be quite nice.
I
hope they do.
They'll probably add a few like outfits or something.
I think they would, like maybe an extra. They did a quest for Edge Runners 1. It was barely a quest though. Could you even call that a quest? It was just.
And they did one for The Witcher 3 when The Witcher TV show came out. So I wouldn't be surprised if they've got like a quest in mind or something like that.
It'll be a text message probably. I remember I booted it up and I've just finished Edge Runners and I've got it on Xbox and I was like, oh, I want to do the Edge Runners quest. So I looked online how to do it, followed it through, got the text message and then went to the place, got the jacket and then the quest complete. I was like,
oh okay.
Great, thanks.
I'm talking about
pretty what. Yeah, it wasn't anything more. You talk to Falco on a text. It tells you a bit about David. You go somewhere, pick up a package. It's David's jacket. You're done. That was the quest.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I hope they do a bit more the next one, but I'm hoping we get something a bit more substantial for Edge Runners 2. That would be really nice. A nice little nod to it. Yeah. I mean, they're dropping a whole new expansion for Witcher 3 nearly over a decade after that dropped, so they can do something for Cyberpunk.
At some point, I definitely need to get into Witcher 3 for that.
Have you not played The Witcher 3, or are you going to go back
before?
Me and Cal are the only people in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, you say that, but I've only just started the GTA franchise, so I'm late to a lot of things.
So many games, bro.
Yeah, exactly. But I've been eyeing. I'm going to pick it up probably towards the end of the year, and then I don't know when that expansion is meant to come out.
Next year, I reckon.
they just said it next year and they're like early.
I don't think they gave. You'll learn more about it. There's a showcase. I think this.
Gamescom.
It'll be there, so we'll learn. We'll get a release date.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think once we know when that comes out, even if it's just like it's going to come out late 2027 or whatever, I will probably like start really getting through The Witcher so I can play that. But I've heard so many great things. I can't wait to play that.
Yeah, same. I want to get the platinum trophy for The Witcher as well. So once that DLC drops, I'll probably start the game again, go through everything, and then play that DLC or the expansion, and then get the platinum.
Yeah.
Call it quits on The Witcher after a good run. So I also played the Cyberpunk Platinum. I finished. I also played. Oh, there was something else before I get into the nitty gritty. Wait, what was it? Oh yeah, so I jumped into Shadow of War for a little bit.
Oh,
that was the return. Yeah, man.
What a game!
What a game!
What a game!
I literally did something to like tide me over between the platinum till Beast of Reincarnation came out, and I just had the urge. I think I saw someone post about Shadow of War, and I was just like, I really want to go back and play that. Actually, such a good game. I want to get the platinum trophy.
Now you said that.
Do it, man. That's what, because I'm kind of gutted that
The platinum's really fun in that. It was awful when it came out, but it's a lot more better. There was originally the reason it was grindy was there was the ending was terrible because they like forced whoever it was, I think who's the public Warner Brothers, I think forced microtransactions. Yeah, they forced microtransactions into it. So the final act was basically just you taking fortresses and then protecting your fortresses, and basically so that you would spend loads of money on loot boxes to get better like captains and stuff. And it was like that would take probably about 15, I think it was like 10 to 15 hours of grinding to do it, maybe even more than that. And that's why like a lot of like the trophy guides and stuff say it takes ages, but like it now I think they changed it, so I think instead of it being like 10 waves, it's like 3 waves, so it's like it's a lot more bearable. It takes like maybe a couple of hours to get through it. It's like really easy, so it's definitely one I highly, that and Shadow of Mordor, I highly recommend platinum in both of them.
I got the platinum for Shadow of Mordor years ago. Loved that game so much. It's one of my favorite games when I got PS4 way back when. So I've always wanted to get the platinum for Shadow of War. So definitely.
I did that again last year for my 1000th platinum on the PS3, and it was a completely miserable experience. Yeah.
Is it?
It was on PS3. It is a truly miserable experience.
Why did you play on PS3, right?
Because I'd already platinumed it twice. I already platinumed both PS4 versions, and then I thought, well, there's only one left. I'll do that one. And it was like the worst way you could ever experience. It felt like a late PS2 game.
I wouldn't imagine what it would be like playing.
Yeah, it's not good. It's a fun thing. I would definitely recommend people play it because it's really fun to see just how bad it is. But like, make sure you play the actual version.
Yeah, Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor, brilliant. Anyone that hasn't played it must play both of them. Some of the best Lord of the Rings. Yeah, man, and the Nemesis system that's another thing I was going to say. Just playing around, I obviously was only playing the game to kind of pad out my time just because I wanted to, and just messing around with the Nemesis system, trying to get. There's a trophy where you have to get one of your orcs to kill their blood brother. And I don't know if anyone explains how difficult that trophy is to get, because you need to make sure that whoever the orc you send to get their blood brother is like a high enough level that he's definitely going to win that pit fight, because you can't intervene. Otherwise, if you do a different mission and it's not just those two fighting each other, then you will get your the guy you've sent to fight his blood brother will turn on you if you hit his blood brother. He will then not be your follower anymore and want to fight you, and you end up fighting 2 of them and you won't get the trophy. So that's a pretty bullshit trophy to get. Because I remember the first time I set it up and I was like, yeah, I'll just send him out on this hunting mission. He'll ambush him. Then I'll come in and weaken him until the other guy can hit him and I'll get the trophy. Yeah. I come in, hit the guy, and then the guy turns around and says, oh, you can't do that. That's my blood brother. Only I can hit him. I'm going to kill you now. I was like, what kind of shit? Like, what kind of recruit are you, man? How can you just turn on me because I already told you to go and kill him. So you killing him is fine, but me hitting him is a big no-no. So it was, that was interesting, but it should be a fun platinum to get, especially if they've taken out the grindiness. And then the bulk of what I played recently, the big one, I hope you guys are strapped in for my exposition here, Beast of Reincarnation. First of all, though, have either of you played that yet?
I haven't. It looks it looked really good, but I think the more I've seen from like what people have said about it, I've sort of like been a bit on the fence. So I'm one of those ones I'll probably play it closer, like when I can get on sale.
Fair enough. What about you, Matt? You haven't played it yet?
No, but it looks like I really hope you can sell me on this game because I want to like it so bad. It looks so fun, but like I'm with Cal. I've seen a lot of less than positive opinions about it. So what do you think?
My breakdown is, and if either of you guys want a shameless plug here, if anybody wants to hear my full unfiltered thoughts on it, my early impressions article is up on X, so that's there. That was after 7 hours of playing it. And I'm going to do a full review on this one because I feel like that early impressions article deserves updating. So when I went into it and I had a tweet that I got a fair bit of backlash for, I described it as 2026's Lost Soul Aside. But I think now that would strike a lot of alarm bells in a lot of people's heads because Lost Soul Aside was a bit considered quite a disappointment and failure to a lot of people. But I have to add the caveat in is that I pre-ordered both games. So I pre-ordered Lost Soul Aside, I pre-ordered Beast of Reincarnation, and I actually end up enjoying both of them, but had a similar beginning, rough start with both experiences. So as you know, Lost Soul Aside released in a questionable state, and it already wasn't going to live up to the hype, but it also had some technical issues that further held it back. Beast of Reincarnation is very reminiscent of that, just on that first feeling I got when I booted up the game and I noticed some of the issues, because I got my copy about noon on release. It got delivered. I got a physical copy. I put the disc in, downloaded, and I played. And I believe the original version I played for the first 30 minutes to an hour was like an unupdated version. I'm not sure if they dropped the first patch just after I started playing, because then I got a notification to install the update. So I immediately stopped playing the game because I'd already noticed some issues that I was like, if this update can help better my experience, I better just let that happen now. So did the update and noticed improvements immediately. So there's a bit, I posted a clip of it on X, but there's a bit at the beginning where there's just a lot of like explosions and stuff going on all around you, enemies and everything, and it kind of throws all of this at you right out the gate. I didn't know how the combat really worked, and it's like really quick tutorials going on. It wants me to shoot things and do things, and I was a bit overwhelmed, and the visuals didn't look good. There was a bit of some frame rate drops, there's some texture issues. And when I aimed that during that first hour, half an hour of me playing, there was no aim reticle. So I thought that that's what the game was like. So that I'm just like kind of free shooting, and that really threw me off. But once I installed the update, a lot of that kind of intro looked a bit better, and there was finally a reticle to my aim. So my experience after that was a lot better. The game isn't perfect, but it is worth playing. Like I said, I compared it to Lost Soul Aside, but I would argue, having now completed both games, that Beast of Reincarnation is the better game. It does suffer from, like, it doesn't have the production quality of its influences. So I think it's most comparable to Nier Automata and Stellar Blade. But I also found a lot of similarities to Kena Bridge of Spirits, which I could get into, and then the boss designs and stuff compared to like Wild Hearts. So there's a lot of that, but everything it compares to has a better production quality than it does. So obviously Nier Automata, Stellar Blade, and Kena all run and just feel better first time I ever played them than this does. But as I've progressed, and I think with further patches and polish, I think this could really be one to watch, because its themes, its atmosphere, the kind of uniqueness of its presentation, as well as its combat and exploration and traversal is all really good. There is just some input delay and some things that I feel like hold it back a bit. Like the traversal could have been better used and better implemented. I feel like sometimes it was easy to forget that I could do certain things because the game wasn't really calling for me to do them very often. Like you can grow out Emma's hair into like roots to create your own platforms to run across. And that didn't happen, or there was no use of that for me for like the first few hours of the game outside of the tutorial. And I got to an area where that was something that I had to do to progress. And I just kept dying because I completely forgot that I could even do that, because the game hadn't really given me cause to do it until I reached that point. So there's just some stuff like that. But overall, it's a solid experience, and I think it's well worth playing. And the highlights really are the combat, sense of exploration, and the story gets better as you progress. But that kind of stilted delivery, that lack of production, really does hold back the story from being something a bit more. It is a bit vague and philosophical, very reminiscent of Stellar Blade and again Nier Automata, but there's some awkward dialogue, awkward writing, and I wouldn't say the voice acting was bad. It's just a bit bland, and one character in it that's just always stuttering, and she's supposed to be really shy and like self-aware. But I might just be an asshole because I just found her really, really, really annoying in the end because it's just every 5 seconds. Do you? And I was just like, I can't hear this woman stutter one more time. It was so annoying. But apart from that, those are my only real holdups. I would say to you guys, if you like Stellar Blade, especially Stellar Blade is probably what it's most comparable to. It's very worth playing. And if you want something with solid, unique combat, that combat system is brilliant. But there's so much skills that you can do, so much you can really build Emma to kind of play how you want her to play. Put status effects onto your weapons and get Ku to support you in different ways. Ku is very customizable as a support character, so all of that works really, really well. I just feel like what I want is for them to make a sequel and to fully realize their vision. I think that's the time that they need. I think a lot of people were saying, because like I said, my initial feedback on it came across as harsher than I meant it, but I was coming from the kind of perspective that I did actually really enjoy Lost Soul Aside. It just had its shortcomings. But this is arguably a better game. It just needs that little bit more polish before I could really say it's like brilliant, outstanding, you know. But I would say it's most comparable to Stellar Blade. I recommend both of you, if you have the slightest interest in it, give it a shot. Maybe if you want to, wait for it on a sale. But I would say I paid £45 for it, and I think I got my money's worth. It's also not particularly long, but also not very short. A lot of people were saying 30 to 40 hours before it released, but I did it in 23 hours. So it's not like that long, but it's substantial. And I think
that's a good amount of time for that price, though.
I felt so. And I think there was more you could do with it. Like New Game Plus is available as soon as you beat the main game. There's no updates or anything for that. So that's quite good. If you want to jump back in, there is good incentive too, because you can carry all of like your skill progression and do it all again with a good handle on the combat. And it did take me like a lot of the game to get a firm grip on the combat. But it's one of those systems that once it clicks, it's like you can't wait. Like when I first started it, I found the combat a bit difficult. I feel like because it's harder than I kind of expected, but it's not really that hard. It's hard to explain. It's challenging, but only because the game expects you to have a good understanding of the systems. Like if you don't use all the systems, so you've got your basic attack, you've got Ku, and then you've got your blade arts and your skills, and obviously parrying and the kind of setting Ku up to do things for you in the background. Because Ku can also be commanded, but you can also add like different like commands that Ku will automatically do. So you could get him to every now and then drop you a healing thing. He'll attack enemies without you telling him to. You can also, from stealth, aim at an enemy and send Ku in to pounce and get him to airlift enemies to do air combos. So he's quite like very versatile, and there's a lot you can do with him. But it takes a while before my brain kind of wrapped around that. But once it did, it's like, to begin with, certain enemies would just annihilate me because I wasn't parrying quick enough or I wasn't using Ku or anything. But towards the end, I'd go into like big groups of enemies, tough enemies that you'd think was going to like ruin me. And I'd just go in and just drop all my blade arts. And just because I had a tactic plan on how to do everything, you'd be thinking on your feet, dropping all your commands, and I just obliterating enemies. It's so satisfying. And the boss fights were good. I think the game just relies a bit too much on repeating used content. So there's a lot of fights. I remember one point I fought the same boss 3 times in a row in the same area. It was part of the story. It's like you're chasing it, but it was like, I shouldn't have had to fight that every single time. And it does the same exact thing. And then there's like one boss fight that's used 3 times throughout the whole thing, a few designs that are repeated. And the enemy variety is also on the lower end, that you fight in pretty much the same enemies throughout the whole game, which all kind of hold it back. But what is there is once it gets its teeth into you, yeah, I can recommend it, and I hope you guys do give it a go. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on it. I'd love to talk to more people about it, but as it stands, it's great. I had a lot of fun with it, and I will be coming back once it gets updated to then do the platinum, and I'll drop a full review of it within the next week or something. So yeah,
and then I might have to check it out.
Just to off on my playing, I'm now currently playing Persona 5 Golden after all the Royale, sorry, not Golden, fucking hell. Yeah, I'm playing Persona 5 Royale now because it's just been too long. That's been sat in my backlog sealed for like since it came out. So I finally unsealed that.
I really need to get into them.
It's really good. Really good. So yeah, that's what I've been working on as it stands.
Before we wrap up, I believe Cal has one more game that he's been playing that he's just been dying to share with the world.
Yeah, I thought I got away with that one. I'll be honest with you. I was really hoping we were going to say, "Oh, that's it for today. Let's not talk about anything else."
What is it?
So speaking of Lord of the Rings, we spoke about Lord of the Rings already. The main game I spent the last I'd say the last week and a bit playing has been the greatest game I've ever played in my life, Gollum. It is. I said on Twitter on my new Twitter account, I said, since I was getting quite close to 1,000 followers, I said, if I hit 1,000 followers, I'll play a really shit game. Give me some. Like I said a really shit game like Gollum. Give me some recommendations, and then everyone was like, has to be Gollum then, play Gollum. So like I was dreading it. I bought the game for £50 when it came out, which is it's insane. I had so much faith in it because it looked like, I think we discussed a little bit, like it had so much potential to be a really cool game. I think that blinded me to like all of the issues that it looked to have. I thought, you know what, I'm going to buy it anyway. And then obviously stop playing it because it was terrible. But it's one of those games everyone says it is the worst game, one of the worst games ever made, one of the worst games of this generation. So I thought this is going to be awful. And after, I believe, I could tell you now, after I platinumed this game about 30 hours, I think. I believe about 30 hours I spent in the last week playing Gollum, and it's fine. It's not bad. It's an okay game, which is probably the biggest hot take I'll ever have in my life. I think I will actively defend this game because even in 2023, I think there were so many worse games that came out. I mean, I can't remember what game it was. Like was it like The Long Before or something? There was that one game that was kind of like, The Last of Us meets Division meets
The Day Before or something like that. I know what you're talking about.
Day Before, I think it was that. And I sort of look at that and I think it was The Day Before. And I think, genuinely, how can you say Gollum was the worst game of the year when that came out? That was a low budget Daisy ripoff and it like bombed immediately. We had the King Kong game that was worse. We had that Walking Dead game that was worse. There was a lot of worse games. I think Gollum's issue is it came out earlier and everyone clicked onto that as like the bad game. I think even in its worst moments, I don't think it was as bad as those.
I just feel like it's so much more memey than, I mean, the King Kong game was bad, but like I don't even it was so bad you can't even meme it. But like Gollum is like, it's so memeable that like it has aura as a bad game. You know, it's like like it just has 100%. This vibe of like, we cannot be serious right now.
There's a lot to it that's like you can't really enjoy this, but then there's a lot of stuff where like there's some like cool detail. I love the fact that like when you go into stealth, like in like bushes and stuff, like you go like your character, the Gollum, like just goes fully black and like he's got like his eyes are like just white and it's like some of like the art, like concept art from like Gollum originally, and how he used like how a lot of people imagine he looked, and like I love that, and I love it. I'm trying to really desperately find things to praise about it, but like it's one of those games where like I don't think it doesn't do anything incredibly, but I don't think it does a lot terribly. It's sort of like the platforming's fine. It's fun enough. Like it can be satisfying when you pull off you can go through a full platforming thing without falling at all. The stealth is passable. Like it's not great, but it's not awful. Like it's very easy to get through things. Like everyone keeps saying that this is a 1 out of 10 game. I would say like it's like I hate ratings, but I'd say it's like a 4 or a 5 out of 10. It's one of those games that you would sort of like, you play it, you forget about it immediately after. Like it doesn't there's some interesting stuff with the story, but like it sort of like you forget about it really quickly. Like I enjoyed it. I think it's like it has its moments, but like I will defend it. Like it's not like there were like obviously it's easier to meme as you say, but I do think that like there's a lot worse games I think that should have had more like disdain towards like more of like the hatred that Gollum gets. I think especially because the development team were like never did anything like that. We're like a very small studio. I think the fact they did that and it wasn't the worst game I've ever played is kind of like astonishing, but like, you know, it's like I wouldn't recommend anyone play it. Maybe if you want to have a joke and laugh and like maybe see how bad it really is because you can get it really cheap. But like, you know, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever played in my life. And I will write up a review about it that will probably be more positive than negative. And a lot of people will think I've got Stockholm syndrome. But, you know, I spent 30 hours and played it through it twice. I think I deserve to say it was all right.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it. I don't think I'll ever play it, but if anybody talks shit about it, I'll say, hey, Cal said it's all right.
Cal said it's all right.
4 out of 10. And not a 1 out of 10. That's what that's the go-to on X. I'll be like,
if anyone tells me now it's awful, like it's the worst game I've ever played, I will fight people over. I will happily be on the timeline saying, no, you're wrong. This was not that bad. It was bad, but it wasn't that bad. Like,
no, your
I'm gonna
line needs to be, it's not a 1 out of 10. It's a solid 4. That's all the argument you're going to piss people off into an oblivion with that. Like, it's like I put out a tweet the other day saying, which is the better game, Beast of Reincarnation or Lost Soul Aside? And the amount of people that just replied saying shit versus trash or trash versus trash or bin versus garbage. It was just like, mate, I'm trying to have a real conversation here, bro. But I feel like once people have labeled something as bad, it's just bad now.
I think I actually got off quite well with Gollum. I think like I've made quite as Matt said to me before, he's seen me talking about it a lot on the timeline. I think I've gotten off really well. I've not really seen many people. I think because of the fact that no one's really played it. They just sort of like it's one of those games. Everyone just sort of like, oh yeah, it's bad. No, we're not going to bother playing it because why would you? But it's like now I've played it, I'm like, it's not that bad. Sort of people are like, oh, maybe it's not that bad. Like. I'm hoping maybe I can start like a renaissance or something, and like people will start turning around. People will start thinking Gollum's a masterpiece.
No, we do not. We do. We do not need the YouTube retrospectives saying Gollum flawed masterpiece. Please no.
Is that the title? That's the title of the review. You can't deny. You can't deny. You'll get clicks. You'll get a lot of clicks.
I'm telling you right now, the title has to be.
It's not going to get through the editor. It's not going to get through.
No. That would be the most viewed review on Life is a Game magazine just for the rage hate alone. Flawed masterpiece to everybody. But
the thing is, I will happily write for it to be that because thing is now the more I'm talking about, the more I'm sort of leaning for it to be a 6 out of 10. So don't even test me. I will go there.
God,
I'm holding this review captive, but I will praise Gollum if I have to.
I feel like the title has to be Gollum Review. It's not a 1, it's a 4 out of 10.
Actually, put it all together over that Gollum Review. Not a 1, 4 out of 10, and then in brackets, flawed masterpiece. That is perfect.
Oh my god!
No, and then the first line needs to be, "It's a 4 out of 10 that feels like a 6."
Exactly, that's what it is. That's what it is.
that is the order.
Matt is wishing we didn't talk about Gollum now.
Oh, so funny. Matt, I've got a completely unrelated question for you real quick.
Sure.
You have a review for Beast of Reincarnation already?
Yes, Stone is working on it.
Oh, of course.
I am going to read yours.
I never did get back with that mixtape review anyway, man.
That's okay.
I could have done that.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, no,
I had it half written.
That pissed me off. I would have written that. I would have written that. You should have just messaged me. Just say I don't want. Mate, I might take that on now. If you don't want to do it, I might take it.
Me?
Yeah, it's
me.
I'm joking.
You know, I'm always.
That's like I held that spot for you, man, and now you're gonna blame me.
Mate.
Oh, no. Half written, but I just got so much shit over the posts I did have.
Yeah.
It like really fucked up my I meant to speak to you about it ages ago, but I'll just go on my tirade now. I meant to write that review, and I started writing it. I started posting about it, and I got so much shit for my mildly positive. I wasn't even glowing reviews. I just was talking about things that the game did that worked because I went in expecting what I got, which is why I enjoyed it. People were just shitting on it, and then I'm there trying to write the review, and I'm like, oh, am I just setting myself up to just get bullied for writing a review on this game? And the more I thought about it, I just had writer's block, and then I forgot about it. So sorry, Matt. Next time I say I'll write you a review, I really will write you a review.
If you've written it off, I'm happy to take that off your hands.
Would you want me to send you what my half-written review? You could finish
if you want. I'd take I remember saying to Matt originally, I really want to review Mixtape, and you're like, oh, someone's already doing it because this is
Matt,
my most anticipated game of the year.
You should have told me, bro, if you don't do this, I'm gonna get.
I'd moved on from it, but I'll happily bring up Mixtape Discord again, and I will call it a masterpiece because I think it is a masterpiece.
I think it is what it set out to do. I don't know what anybody was expecting.
Exactly.
Because I looked at the gameplay and I knew this is going to be like a collection of mini games, similar. It's very similar to something like Life is Strange, but smaller. And I enjoyed it more than Life is Strange. Life is Strange took itself too seriously. I think Mixtape knew what it was. It played into its characters' tropes. It was tropey, and I think that was supposed to be the point. But a lot of people called it forced. And it's like, did you even realize? This is why I didn't end up writing the review, because I just argued with people so much about the fucking game.
One thing I found really funny about Mixtape, I don't want to drag on because is that I made a load of tweets about how much I'm excited for it. Did really well. People were very oh, I can't believe this is coming out. I made a bunch of tweets, and I made a few tweets a day because I played and I planned it the day after it came out because one of the trophies was just awful. But I beat it within 2 hours of it launching, and all my tweets did really well. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, no, this looks amazing. This looks amazing." And so I stopped tweeting about it, and then people I saw tweeting about the day or two after, when the whole anti-woke mob sort of latched onto it, they all got the shit for it. So I sort of steer cleared for it, and I did make a couple of tweets on the fact saying how it's one of the best games of the year, and then just to piss people off, because I thought I need to get some attention from this. I need to do this.
Yeah, I asked for it because when I saw the backlash, I did put something along the lines of Mixtape Game of the Year 2026. The question mark. People did not like that, bro.
I think it's up there for me. I think it's second place for me at the moment. So I will happily write a review and say that this is Game of the Year. Because I will be able to
my half-written bullshit and see if you can salvage anything from it.
Matt's shaking his head at this now because I've got 5 reviews. I've got so many reviews already planned. I keep telling Matt I'm going to do.
One of my favorite things about Cal is his capacity for rage bait. I would have a mental breakdown if I posted the amount of things that Cal posts that I know he genuinely believes, but somehow I get secondhand shit from them, and I cannot imagine being I cannot imagine being the one who gets primary shit from them. Because anytime I have a tweet or a post or anything where half the comments are negative, I just I stay off my phone the rest of the day. But this man will have a post go blow up for
my account.
He'll
wouldn't handle my account,
dude.
When I posted when you posted the GTA 3 review, and you had the one comment that was like,
"Oh yeah.
I can't take this seriously, because I can't read this because you played the definitive edition, not the normal edition." And I replied to it saying I want to play the original one, but how does this impact the quality of the review? And he was like, "Oh no, I'm just trying to rage bait and whatever." That was all the response I got. Yeah, I do that all the time. I have to respect that he said that.
I always call people out. I'll be like, yeah, fair enough, because I'm trying to have a conversation here, but why'd you say that? And people be like, yeah, I'm just here for shits and gigs, bro. It's fair enough. At least you're honest.
At least you can own it. At least you can own it. I can respect that.
People come back to you with their bullshit arguments, and it's like, bro, you're just trying to upset me, and it's working.
Yeah, and it's working. Yeah, exactly. But it's I think because of the level, because I'm British, so it's sort of I love just annoying people. I think it's the funniest. I think it's the funniest when try not to say anything like too extreme, but like I would say something I know will annoy people, and I see people get so mad over it, and it brings me a little bit of joy.
Sorry, Matt.
Exactly.
But Americans about random shit. Like, I've had one guy, and I shit you not, this was way back at the beginning, before we even met on the app, Matt. But I was talking about places. I tweeted one of my like most earliest like tweets that did well, and it probably got like 5K views or something. And I said something about the console war or upcoming exclusives. One nutter threatened to kill me for saying something. I remember thinking, why are you threatening my life over a console game? Little did I know that this was like nothing compared to the bullshit I'd see going down the line. But I've noticed I can always tell when I'm talking to an American, because politics seems like it's everything in America. And I feel like in England, certain things we just don't take that seriously. Football is one of the things you could get into a fight over. But games, no one, you could say whatever you want. No. If I went into a street in England and yelled out that Cyberpunk was the shittest game I'd ever played, someone would just look at me and be like, all right, you mug. Like, no one would care.
Someone look
like in America, you would actually get shot. Crazy
I
stuff.
made a tweet on my old account. There was, Tropic Thunder.
Yes, that was such a funny.
It's such a funny film, but I made a tweet because it's one of those tweets that always makes the rounds, and it always pisses people off. And it was like, they're like, it's the 40th, it was like the 20th anniversary or whatever, and they post a picture of Robert Downey Jr. in blackface.
Yes, oh my god!
So I quoted the tweet, and I said, as a joke, because it's so obviously a joke, it just said, how come nobody knew about this? How are we still letting him do films after this? And I got about 100,000 likes. I got like 20,000 comments of just people telling me to kill myself. And I go into my replies, and I go into my messages, and I'd have people calling me the N-word. I'm white. I'm not. You can't even call me that. I'm white. You're calling me that, and like telling me to die, and I'm like, mate, this is the funniest thing. I love it because it's like you got this mad over a random little tweet on the internet.
See,
it just fills me with joy.
I genuinely
cracks me up. Sorry, go on.
I genuinely don't like. It doesn't bother me. The one that gets to me is when you or Cal or someone who I associate with on the internet, who I enjoy being around and having good conversations with, you guys will say something, and then someone will DM me and go, "Oh, this your boy? This someone you hang out?" And it's literally like,
have you? Does that happen?
Yes, and
is that a real thing?
Yes, and literally, but it'll be like the most innocuous thing. It'll be like what's a good example? Like Cal saying, like, posting a movie review and like, I enjoyed The Odyssey, and someone like DM me or something, or like, and I'm like, dude, it's Cal. Like, he can say whatever he wants to. I'm not in charge of him. I don't pay him. Yeah,
I don't know this man.
No, it's not even that. They're like convinced that like I like pay people, or like I'm like they're like when we were talking about the id Software guy earlier, like they expect me to be like Microsoft and be like, Cal's fired. What? Like what? Like it doesn't make any sense.
Oh my god!
I'm like, he can say whatever he wants to. It's fine. He's his own person.
Microsoft's going to go up to you and say, "Can you please stop this guy from writing for you ever again?"
Some people, it cracks me up. Like you get like certain people that are there to have a discussion, and certain people that are there to just rage bait. And it's so funny when I make a statement, something that I agree with, well formulated, whatever, and you get somebody that responds negatively to that, and then somebody comments on their response, and this happens a lot, calling me the N-word, and then you just see the person that didn't agree with me suddenly very much distance themselves from this person that was trying to back them up. It's so funny
all the time.
So many times I get somebody who's like, yeah, that's what you can expect from these N-words, or this is mud-colored people. It's like, bro, you can even tell the person who wrote thinking, Nick, I ain't on it with you either, man. What the fuck are you doing?
I have that all the time. Like the amount of times I tweet out.
Do people just call people the N-word without knowing what they even are now?
All the time.
Because
I get it all the time, and I'm white as shit.
Very strange. I remember someone called me foreign once because I put a typo in one of my posts, and I was like, bro, but he's like, this is why these foreigners, they can't even speak English. And I'm thinking, bro,
it's like, you can't typo. We know I've got ADHD.
Only language
type too fast.
Exactly, man. The amount of typos in some of my posts sometimes, I'm like, I need to.
I'm the same way.
I'm so terrible.
But it's like the amount of times I've like they've been like, oh, there was one game, I think it was like mixtape, or it was some game that came out. It was like one of those like woke games that people have to hate, and I remember disliking a part of it, and I like had replied, I tweeted, oh, I don't like this, and then it was on an old account, but I remember some random guy just like replied to it saying, just with his whole chest, he was like, oh, like, this is what you get from one of those tranny games or something. And I was just like, and I just replied to him saying like, this ain't what we're doing here. Like, we're not doing that. But then I get like 10 people replying to me saying, oh, don't be a bitch. And I was like, what? What do you want about?
Yeah,
to be a decent person.
Having an argument with somebody, and I'm always looking for like a common ground. And I remember I capitulated something. So I had a statement, he had a statement, and I said, well, I don't agree with what you said for X, Y reason. I can't even remember what game we're talking about, but he said something that actually made sense. So I capitulated and said, yeah, fair enough, that's the case. Loads of people were like, oh, why are you backtracking? Why are you backtracking? I'm like, bro, who's backtracking? I just said the guy made a point, is all I'm saying. I still agree with what I said. I said it, but I can capitulate that. That's a fair point.
I have that all the time with the digital stuff.
God, it's crazy.
Like I'm like very like pro physical, and then I'll buy a game digitally, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're backtracking on it." Like, you don't care about physical anymore, and it's like, well, no, like I can buy them both ways. It doesn't change the fact.
It's crazy. It's people like they want you to pick and be on one side. I know it's not that deep. We're talking about video games here, guys. It's not like a political party. It's not going to change your actual life in terms of your everyday survival. So why are you so pressed about it is what I don't understand.
Yeah, and Gollum is a 4 out of 10. All right?
Yes. That feels like
6 out of 10.
No, it's a 4 out of 10 that feels like a 6. I feel like that's
4 out of 10 that feels like a 6. That's a good one.
That'll get you clicks, man.
Not 1 out of 10. It's a 4 out of 10 that feels like a 6. It's a flawed masterpiece.
There you go. There you go. If that's the topic, guys, I didn't help you write the review. I've never played the game, man.
Oh, I can't wait to drop that. There's going to be so many people replying to that review saying, no, I can't support this. I can't support this publication anymore.
You know what? I might rewrite part of my mixtape review now and send it to you, Cal, to just glaze it, and then you can do with it as you will. I'll just be.
I will more than happily.
If you want games released this year.
My review. I will start rhyme. I will start rhyme review as soon as we finish this, because I can get this out as soon as possible. Like, if you want to send me any glaze for it, like, I'm gonna be glazing it to high heaven because I want to. But like, if you want to add anything to it, you can send it over to me.
I'll send you what I've got, man. I'll get it to you. I'll probably DM you tomorrow with like a 5 paragraphs of glaze. Matt, you'll get that review. Okay, it might be 8 months late, but you will get it. Don't say I never.
No, I'll make sure this is happening on time. Like, scrap my GTA reviews. This is happening. And I have got a Power Rush review, so you have got something from me ready.
All right, shall we wrap this thing up?
Yeah. I think about time.
There might be a lot to cut from this one, but
this is the last time I'll be invited.
You'll be back, mate. You'll be back.
Jay needs more British friends on the podcast.
Yes, I do. Well, we got Vodka Grease, right? Who else British has been on here?
Been on, but you weren't on.
Well, there we go, another Brit. Do you only get British guests?
We're colonizing the podcast.
I know we said we were going to wrap up, but oddly enough, I feel like I get very few American interactions on this app. The majority of them...
Most of mine are American.
Most of mine are British. Or some sort of like European. Like, most of the people that I interact with, I'm pretty sure there's definitely a fair cohort of Americans, but like a lot of the people that maybe it's just the people I enjoy talking to happen to be British.
Not as angry, maybe.
We're just easy to talk to. All right, mate.
Sorry to all Americans that are probably listening to this. I do love Americans and everything, but some of y'all are angry, man. You guys are so angry sometimes. I thought Brits were bad, but at least Brits are quiet, you know what I mean? They'll just ignore you. You get blocked by a Brit before they'll give you a paragraph on why you should kill yourself. But yeah.
Not me, though. I'll give you the paragraph. I'll give you that paragraph for ever saying that Gollum was bad. Oh my gosh.
That's a wrap for episode 8. As always, thank you guys so much for joining us for this one. I have been Jay Games. Jay plays games on everything: YouTube, X, TikTok. Follow me if you're interested. And I will let Matt do his outro.
At It's Matt Ghosty on Twitter, and you can also find the publication that I run and help produce at Life is a Game magazine, pretty much everywhere. Lifeisamagazine.com. Website is currently getting redone, so stay tuned. I'm hoping it comes together this week so we can start getting those mixtape reviews out.
Nice.
Column 2.
And
Cal, where can everyone find you, Cal?
You can find me on everything either as CalJBO3 on most actual game platforms if you want to add me and see what garbage I'm putting myself through, or Splinter Cal on Twitter and stuff, because I think it's the greatest I've ever come up with. So either of those.
Nice.